I can do what I want when I want to do it. I can do what I need when I need to get through it. When I need someone else, can't be too proud for help, but gotta look after myself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what today is. But it's exactly what you make it. So please don't go wasting. And I'll do the same, even if it's raining. How could I complain? And my feels got me feeling some type of way. You always free to take a break. Hope you feel what I felt. You gotta look after yourself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. Of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what today is.
All right, y'all know what time it is on this Tuesday morning. Good to see everybody in here. You know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We go ahead and get right into it. I appreciate everybody who's in the building. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And shout out to Keely for kicking off the show the right way. Y'all are asking about who that is. That is Keely, and the link to the video that we used to start the show is in the description. But first, man, welcome back, y'all. Welcome to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the Music Morning Show. I'm your host, Classy Beats of ClassyBeats.com. And this morning we are going to get back into the ASAP Rocky trial. I don't know what's going to happen today. Had some crazy testimony yesterday, finished up with ASAP 12, and then we've got ASAP Levin, aka Lewis Levin, Rocky's manager. His tour manager is going to be on the stand. We're going to review that from yesterday, and then court is going to start later on this afternoon. But before I get into it, I got to say what's up to the people, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Of course, we got my awesome, amazing Amy is in here. Michi's in the building. Les Cleaver, my guy. Shout out to you. Jay Buckmaster is up in here too. Always good to see you. A Fitz, good morning. Alabama GG, I see you. I see you. We've got Mello DC in here. Oh, you changed your name, Melody. Shout out to Melody. What'd she say? She said, man, I hope the jury goes to deliberate at lunchtime and is back with a not guilty verdict at the end of the day. Oh, man. I can't take the suspense any longer. I don't think that's going to happen, but we can only hope for Rocky's sake. We've got Libby SC22 girl is in the building. The Valda Ross is in the building. Good morning. We've got Be Free and Happy. Good to see you in here, as well as Miss 86. What's up, gang? I'll be saying what's up and good morning to the rest of y'all here shortly. If you could, excuse me, please do me a favor. Make sure you like the video on your way in. Not only is it free, not only does it help the show continue to grow, but it lets the algorithm know that y'all are enjoying the show and it shares the video with more people. Also, we just launched a brand new Patreon. We've already got over 20 members on the Patreon. So if y'all want to go check it out, please make sure you click the link in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. We got some exclusive content over there for you. We'll be doing Patreon only exclusive live streams as well. And I'll be giving some behind the scenes look into what's going on here on the channel and in personal life too. So it'll be a great time. Y'all make sure you go check out the Patreon. All right. What else we got? I think I've got everybody in here. I see the rest of y'all. Amy, don't do that. Amy, you can't be saying stuff like that if you're not gonna explain, and I'm definitely not gonna explain. All right. Shout out to Amy, library Amy in here. Shout out to, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it again. Thank y'all for being here. What we're going to do is we're gonna tap back into court yesterday afternoon, and we've got ASAP Levin on the stand. ASAP Lewis, whatever you want to call him, Lewis Levin. It's Rocky's tour manager. He's going to talk a little bit about what happened and what he saw that went on during this alleged crime. So here we go. Oh, but before we get into it, shout out to my guy, Raymond Gaines in here. Oh, Raymond Gates, my bad. Dropping the 2-bomb in the building. I appreciate you. I will be reading super chats throughout the show. So thank you, Raymond Gates, for dropping that super chat in there as well. I appreciate it. Serotonin, good morning, DK Bold. Good to see y'all as well. All right, let's get into this testimony from Lewis Levin. Here we go.
Turn seat 7. Turn 7.
And y'all let
Alex
me know how this
reminded me
sounds,
that
too.
you need to recess at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Is that like in stone? Can it be any longer than that?
I need to be in Bakersfield by 6 o'clock.
Can you be later? Can
No,
you
but
be
I'm giving a talk. I can't be later.
All right. Then tomorrow.
Got an issue with the
I told
jury.
you, we'll break at 3. We will break at 3.
Because we should be protected.
Oh.
Shout out to Judge Arnold. He said, yeah, right.
All right, we are now back on the record. All jurors and counsel and parties are present. Defense,
Thank you. The defense calls Lewis Levin.
Here we go. Okay, the sound is good. Awesome. Thank y'all.
Across from me, please. So around there. So you can just stop around there. Raise your right hand for us. Thank you. You solemnly state that the testimony you may give the cause now pending before this court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Thank you. Please take this witness stand there. Feel free to adjust the microphone and state and spell your name for the record.
Lewis Levin, Louis-Levin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. Levin.
Good afternoon.
Do you go by any other name than Lewis Levin?
Yes, ASAP Lou.
Okay.
Shout out to ASAP
Mr.
Lou.
Levin, in anticipation of the prosecution's questions later, would you ever commit perjury to defend Rocky?
No.
Would you ever commit perjury for anyone?
No.
Do you understand the significance of the oath you've taken today?
Yes, I do.
And do you take that oath seriously?
Yes,
Is this your first time testifying?
it is.
What do you do for a living?
I'm Rocky's tour manager. I also DJ, and I have a clothing brand.
And what are your responsibilities as Rocky's tour manager include?
Just doing the routing for the shows, making sure that the production staff is hired, the production is right, he gets there on time, just that we have a successful and good show.
Okay. And in addition to touring, are you also involved in Rocky's music videos?
Yes, I am.
And what does that involve?
Sometimes I'm featured in the videos, but most of the time I'm there to like help manage directors, producers, assistants, props, light, anything, just kind of a helping hand.
Okay. And how long have you worked with Rocky?
Since 2010.
When did you first meet him?
I met him in 2010 at a concert in Brooklyn.
And can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I was.
relevant just to overall. You can answer.
Yes, I was actually a fan in the crowd, and I was a fan for him for a while, and I was in the crowd. He picked me out of the crowd and said, like, you're hyped, I like your energy, come up on stage. Went up on stage, and then after that, went backstage and met him, 12E, Bari, Ills, just all the ASAP guys.
And did you begin working with Rocky at that time?
Not right away. It was a couple months after. It was either later in 2010 or early 2011.
And what was your first position with Rocky?
I was his assistant first.
And what did that involve?
Just like consistent tasks. Make sure he's up on time, he makes his meetings, phone calls, he eats, his bags are packed, he's prepared for the day.
Okay.
Tour
And
manager.
was there a time where you switched positions? When you stopped doing that?
Yeah, I did that for about 3-4 years, and then I started being his tour DJ, and like when he did after parties or clubs, his DJ for that as well.
Okay. And when did you start becoming his tour manager?
I would say 2017, 2018, somewhere around there.
Okay, now, in addition to the work you do for Rocky, have you held any other jobs?
Well, yeah, I DJ and I have a clothing brand. I DJ on my own. Yeah.
And how large are the venues that you DJ for?
It varies. I've done like festivals with a few thousand people. I've done smaller private events, like club events. It varies, but I've done international, domestic. I've traveled for a lot.
Okay. And you mentioned that you met ASAP 12. Is that right?
Yeah, the first show I met Rocky.
And what's your relationship been like with 12?
It's been good. I would consider him a close friend.
And
Oh, that's nice.
did you ever meet someone known as ASAP Rocky?
Yes.
And what's your relationship been like with him?
Over the years, it's always kind of been up and down. It would be times where like we were good, and then like a week later, he would text me or call me and say, "Fuck you, you're a bitch, you're a faggot." Oh, sorry.
Overruled. Overruled. You can answer.
He would text me and just be aggressive, like "fuck you."
Come on,
I'm
Lou.
gonna fuck you up when I see you. You're a bitch. You're a faggot. But then a week later, say, "Hey, I miss you. We should hang out." Like it's been like that ever since I've known him, really.
What's your
This goes to the narrative, man. That, oh my gosh. ASAP Rocky was sensitive and a weirdo. Do y'all believe him? Let me know in the comments.
understanding as to why it's been like that?
Your Honor, that's gonna
Can't be saying the F word on YouTube.
YouTube.
Jeez.
What's your understanding as to why it's been that way?
What's your understanding, what?
What's your understanding as to why it's been that way?
The objection sustained.
Okay. Ms. Levin, do you have any experience with firearms?
Yes, I do.
And are you licensed to possess firearms?
Yes, I am.
When did you get licensed?
In 2020,
And why?
it was COVID times, and it was pretty crazy. There was a lot of like home invasions. There's a lot of people getting robbed. There's a lot of violence going on, and I just felt the need to have something in my house to protect myself.
Okay. And what firearms, if any, do you own?
I own a Smith & Wesson M&P 9. I own a Glock 42.
Nice.
I own a 12-gauge shotgun and an AR-15. Right.
What caliber is the Glock 42?
It's 380.
Now, what do you do with those
Bipolar,
firearms?
Uh,
maybe, yeah.
Take them to the shooting range, keep them in my house. So, yeah.
Okay. And do you consider yourself knowledgeable about guns?
Yeah, I would say so.
Are you personally aware whether or not Rocky's been the victim of prior violence?
Yes, I am.
And can you tell us about that knowledge?
I know he was jumped in a club in 2018. His face was cut.
Motion to strike the answer. Hold on.
Sorry.
He can testify to what he has observed relating to that. If anything has been told to him, that would be an admissible hearsay.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, with that instruction, are you personally aware of anything that you observed in terms of past violence against Rocky?
Yeah, that I personally observed. He had home invasions and a stalker.
And can you tell us about the stalker?
The stalker has actually gotten into his home before. I saw the security footage, and I've actually encountered her in person before, and like just following me around.
Okay. And when's the last time there was an incident with the stalker?
It was Memorial Day of 21.
Around May of 2021?
I would say yes.
Now, do you know of any security measures that Rocky took in response to these incidents?
Yes, he started getting security guard to sit outside his house for 24 hours, and he started carrying a profit.
Yeah, I'm gonna object. Last Foundation. How do you know that? How do you know about the security company and the property?
Because he was there.
I physically saw them, both the profit and the security company. And I
Objection withdrawn. The objection's over. All right, the objection's withdrawn. Ask another question.
Thank you. So what's your understanding of what a prop gun is?
It's a prop gun is something that looks like a real gun. It doesn't fire a projectile. It makes the same noise. It looks like it. It's just, like I said, it doesn't actually shoot anything out of it.
All right. I think you just answered this, but were you personally involved in Rocky's decision to carry the prop gun?
security, and I thought it would be a good idea.
Why?
Well, because of the prior violence, it's just a non-lethal form, like to self-defense.
Okay. Now, you said you worked with Rocky on music videos. Did any of them involve prop guns?
Yes.
Which was the most recent one?
DMV.
And where was that music video made?
It was made in New York.
Who were the main characters in that video?
Rocky.
Do you know where Rocky got the prop gun that he carried from?
Yes, he got it from that video shoot.
And how do you know that?
I was on set and I handled it there.
Have you seen him take it?
I did see him take it, yes.
When was the DMV music video recorded?
July 2021.
So about a month or two after that May 2021 incident with the stalker?
Correct, yes.
Now, after the DMV video, how do you know that Rocky carried that prop gun?
I personally saw him and I handled it.
Did you see Rocky with it on November 6th, 2021?
I did, yes.
Where were you when you saw it?
We were at in Long Beach at ComplexCon. We had rehearsals that day for the show, which was the next day, the 7th. During rehearsals, he does like a dress rehearsal where he gets on stage and runs around and rehearses his performance. While he was running around, he handed me the prop gun to hold, so it was in safekeeping.
Based on
Interesting.
what you've seen and heard, did Rocky hide from his friends the fact that he carried that prop gun?
Not to his close friends, no.
Well, that was
How do
dumb.
you know that?
Or maybe not.
It was known by everyone. I mean, it was just something that everyone knew. Like his close friend circle, everybody knew that he carried a prop gun.
Have you ever seen Rocky carry a real firearm in public?
Not in public, no.
Now, the prop gun that you've been talking about, what type is it, or was it?
It was a Glock 26.
And did you ever do anything to that prop gun to modify it?
Yes. I added this thing on the side of it called the clip draw, and what that is essentially it lays flush to the slide, and it allows you to put it in your waistband more securely. So if you have to carry it out, and then I also added a clear extended magazine on it.
And why did you put the clear extended magazine on it?
Well, the Glock 26 is a small, like subcompact gun. The whole point of him carrying this was to make it look intimidating, to kind of scare people off that were going to try to harm him. So having the clear magazine and extended magazine made it look a little bit more intimidating.
Okay. To your knowledge, did there come a point where Rocky stopped carrying that prop gun?
Yes, it was after November 6th.
Objection Foundation, in terms of how he knows this, can we get the foundation?
How do you know?
Oh, because I was part of the decision. He gave it to me. He gave it to me after.
Objection's overruled.
And why was that decision made?
Yeah, it's gonna call for speculation, unless there's first-hand knowledge.
Overruled.
The decision was made because, like I said, he carried it to deter violence, and then on November 6th, after the incident, it obviously didn't work, and he decided to just get actual armed security. He didn't want to carry it anymore.
Do you know what happened to that prop gun?
Yes, I brought it back to New York.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so after he gave it back to me, January, I believe, of next year, 2022, I flew back to New York with it, and I gave it to the co-director that we got it from.
When you said you gave it to him in New York, how did you get to New York with the prop gun?
Oh, we took a private jet.
Nice.
Now, do you know if Rocky was licensed to possess firearms in 2021?
That's gonna again call for hearsay.
Stand.
I don't think it matters.
Do you know if Rocky owned firearms in 2021?
And that's also Lax Foundation, the way to ask. Ask him what he knows, what he's seen.
Yeah, it's overruled.
Yes, he did.
And what firearms did he own?
It was a Desert Eagle, 44 Magnum, and an AR-10 rifle.
And are they designed to accommodate 9mm caliber ammunition?
No, they're not.
Have you ever been to Rocky's home?
Yes,
How often?
many times.
And have you ever seen firearms or ammunition here?
Yes.
Did you ever plan on going to a shooting range with Rocky?
Yeah, we did. It was in the summertime of 21, I would say July, August, somewhere around there.
And what preparations did you make in order to go?
So I came to his place first with my both of my pistols, my handguns, and while we were there, I was oiling the guns up and loading the magazines, and also calling around the shooting ranges to try to secure like a private area, a private room.
And why did you do that? Why were you looking for a private room?
Well, because of who he is, he's a celebrity, and you know we just didn't want to cause a commotion going there. And usually when we go out places, we do try to get a private room. Like,
In this instance, did you actually end up going to the shooting range?
no, we couldn't secure anything. Everything was booked out, or just nothing was available that day.
Okay. So what did you do instead?
Just hung out at this place. We had a couple drinks, talked, bullshit.
Okay. Did you go home that night?
I did.
And did you bring your weapons and ammunition back with you?
I did not.
Why not?
Because I had a couple
Lewis
drinks.
seems a
and I
little
think it was
nervous.
wise to travel with my firearms.
Okay. Did you go back to Rocky's house to retrieve your belongings at some point?
Yeah, the next day I did.
And at that time, did you take everything with you?
I took everything except for one magazine. It was a Glock 43 magazine.
Okay. Now, do you own a Glock 43?
I did not.
All right. So why did you have a Glock 43 magazine?
So when I purchased my Glock 42, and I was at the gun shop buying accessories for it, more magazines, I had mistakenly grabbed the Glock 43 magazine. When you're in the store, everything is like right next to each other. So it's the Glock section, it's all of them listed, the 17, 19, all the accessories. They were right next to each other, and I grabbed it mistakenly. And I didn't realize until that day that I had mistakenly grabbed it.
And I want to show you what's in evidence is Exhibit 40. Give us Exhibit 40. 40B.
Yeah, this is an interesting testimony.
Direct your attention to this right here.
Yes.
For the record, you pointed to what appears to be a handgun magazine in the middle of the photo, or other magazines and rounds in the video. Is that correct, Runner?
That's right.
Okay, it's 11. I just pointed to. What is that?
That's my Glock 43 magazine.
Was this magazine ever used?
No.
Can you tell that from looking at the picture?
Personally, I guess, because I own firearms and I own other magazines. Usually it has wear marks on the side of it from going in and out of the pistol or firearm. So
That's a
one
good
has
point.
nothing on it. It's clearly brand new. It's just loaded.
So it's never been used, is what he's saying.
I want to show you what's in evidence of People's Exhibit 42.
You don't have to take them all out. We'll stipulate some numbers we like.
Let's do this. Can you zoom in on it? Away. Okay. Why don't we do this? We have still have one. You take a look at this cartridge. Tell me if you recognize that.
Yes.
What is it?
It's a 6-hour 9mm cartridge. It's mine.
Is that the ammunition that you left at Rocky's house?
Correct, yes.
The one that, excuse me, ammunition that was contained in that magazine that we just saw?
That's correct.
By the way, going back to the magazine, When you realized it was the wrong one, when you realized it was the wrong one, why didn't you return?
Yeah.
It's a $20 magazine. It would have cost more in gas to go there back and forth in my time.
Okay. All right, I want to show you what's evidence is defense exhibit.
Are y'all buying this story? I don't know.
Okay. Let's look. Do you see the two shell casings on the right?
Yes.
Can you see the imprint on the bottom of those shell casings? Can you make it out?
Yes.
And what do they say? What's the imprint?
FC 9mm Luger.
Okay. Can you tell us what brand these casings are?
That's federal.
Okay. And the cartridges on the left, are those the cartridges that you just saw?
Yeah, the one you just handed me.
Okay. That's the 9mm ammunition that you left in Rocky's house?
Correct.
Okay. And what brand is that?
SIG, 6 hour.
All right. So these 9mm shell casings on the right, the same brand as your 9mm ammunition on the left.
They're not.
Thank you. I don't have anything further.
Mr. Levin, as you sit here today, do you consider yourself to be an unbiased witness?
Yes, I do.
So do you agree that you come in to your testimony today looking at the defendant as basically a brother, correct?
Yes.
And would you agree that you do not want to see him convicted in this case, agreed?
Well, already he's facing 24 years. I don't want to see him go to jail for 24 years.
Your Honor, please admonish the jury that that is an incorrect statement.
Sustained. Ask the question again.
Did you not understand the question that I asked?
Can you please rephrase it?
So I'm going to ask you going forward, sir. I want you to answer the question I asked, and only that question, and not add anything that you want to add. The attorney who called you will have a chance to get up here on redirect and to ask you anything that he wants to ask. Do you understand that?
Yes, I apologize. Can you please rephrase it?
My question is, isn't it true, sir, that whether or not the defendant committed this crime or not, you do not want him to be convicted, do you?
I believe in the judicial system. Anyone who's committed a crime and is guilty and found guilty by a jury should pay for their crime.
I'm going to ask you again, sir. Given your close relationship with the defendant, isn't it true that you do not want him to be convicted in this case? Yes or no?
I can't really answer that. I don't know the details, full details of the case. I can't accurately answer that. I'm sorry.
You would agree that you have in addition to your personal relationship, you have a financial relationship.
I don't like this testimony so far.
Not significant.
Well, wait a minute. You're his tour manager, correct?
Yeah, the past 2-3 years, he barely toured.
Well, if he tours, would you expect to be the tour manager?
When he tours, yes.
And when he tours, that can be very financially lucrative for the defendant and for anybody else who is associated with it, correct?
Sure, yeah.
So you would agree, sir, that you have a financial interest in the defendant being able to continue to tour where you can be his tour manager. Is that correct?
I'm sorry. Can you ask it again? Give me off.
Sure. Would you agree that you have a future financial interest in the defendant being able to perform and tour?
Yes, but it's not the majority of my income.
That's not what I asked.
Everything after we guess is true.
I apologize. Sorry.
Are you aware of the defendant having toured in Bangkok?
In Bangkok?
Yeah.
Yes.
When did that happen?
Last year in November, I believe we did the show.
In fact, you're aware that this trial was delayed so he could tour, correct?
Well, sustained, the objection sustained.
You just told me he rarely tours anymore. He just toured in Bangkok a couple of months ago, correct?
I wouldn't consider that a tour. A tour is multiple shows. That was one show. It was a one-off show.
Did you go?
Of course I would, yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, you got paid for going, right?
Yes.
So do you agree that you have a financial interest in the defendant continuing to be able to tour?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna keep that, yes.
Good. Just keep it moving. Keep it
So
simple.
how much of your income, I'm not asking you what you make, but what percentage of your income is either directly or indirectly related to the defendant?
Currently, I would say 30%.
And what was it previously?
Previously, when?
Well, so you said currently it's 30%, you agree?
Like I said, it varies. It depends on how much he's toured. So when he tours, I can't accurately tell you because that's years ago when he was actually touring.
When he was actually touring, you were making more money, is that correct?
Well, yeah, the more shows we do, the more I make, yeah.
And in fact, when you were his assistant, that's what he paid you, correct?
I'm sorry, when I was an assistant, I got paid, yes.
And that was your primary source of income, correct?
In 2010, yeah, that was.
So historically, the defendant has been an extremely important source of income for you, is that right?
Yes, he's opened the door for me to have other opportunities aside from working directly from him to be able to further benefit financially. So I DJ on my own, like I said, not with him. I travel on my own. And recently, for the past couple of years, that's been the majority source of my income, yes.
And in terms of you being able to establish yourself as a DJ and your clothing brand, you have the defendant in large part to thank for that, don't you?
Sure, yes.
Now,
This is not bad. See, this is Lewis's problem. He's thinking too much about Rocky. He just needs to answer the questions truthfully, like 12E did, because it's not wrong or improper to have a business relationship with him. It's not wrong or improper to not want to see him be locked up. There's nothing wrong with that.
when did you first
Just answer the questions
speak to the
truthfully.
defense in this case?
In August of 2024.
So you're saying the very first time that you spoke to the defendant's lawyers was nearly 3 years after the incident?
That's correct.
Had you spoken to the defendant about this incident prior to that time?
Yeah.
Had you spoken to him numerous times about it?
More than once? Sure, yeah.
So we're going to go back to the very beginning. When did you first hear about this incident on November 6, 2020?
The next day?
And did you talk to the defendant about it?
Yes.
And at that point in time, did he tell you that he had pulled a prop gun on Relly?
Yes, he explained to me the situation of what happened on the night of November 6th.
And at that point in time, were you aware that Relly was already contacting the defendant and other members of his entourage, for lack of a better word, and basically demanding money?
I don't recall that specifically.
You became aware near the time of the incident that Relly wanted money, correct?
I can't recall that specifically. No, I know about the incident, but I don't know. He didn't contact me about wanting any money. So I don't know. I can't recall specifically if he did that.
Let me ask you something. Did you become aware at some point in time that Relly wanted money?
Yeah.
And did you become aware of that from the defendant?
To be honest, I think I became aware of it when everything came out in the media.
Wait, so you're saying you never had a conversation with the defendant back near this, when this event happened, about the defendant wanting, the victim wanting a bunch of money from him?
Like I said, sir, to be honest, I can't recall that specific conversation.
I'm not asking a specific conversation.
He said, I don't
I'm asking,
recall.
did you have any conversation
That's the answer.
with the defendant, who you described as your brother, a fellow ASAP, the person who you were his personal assistant? Did you have any conversation with him near the time of this event about what happened, the fact that Relly wanted money for it?
When you say the fact that Relly wanted money, like I said, I can't recall if we specifically spoke about that right around the time of the event.
When did you become aware that Relly wanted money?
I told you, I don't specifically recall, but I believe it may have been around when everything came out in the media.
And when you say everything coming out in the media, do you mean?
When the defendant was arrested.
And that's going to be in
Interesting.
2022, is that correct?
In April, I believe, yes.
And you're telling me that before that time, as far as you can remember, you didn't have any conversation with the defendant about what Relly wanted from him. Is that correct?
Like I said, sir, I cannot specifically remember.
So I'm asking you, sir, as you sit here, to the best of your memory, did you have any conversation with the defendant about Relly wanting money from him between the time the incident happened and the time that it became public in April 2000?
You don't recall.
And again, I said I cannot specifically remember if we spoke about it around the time of the event.
When you say you cannot specifically remember, what do
I
you
cannot
remember?
recall. I recall him telling me about the event, how it happened on November 6th, the night. I can't remember him specifically saying Rel was trying to extort him for money.
So I want to go back to
He answered this
your
question 3
conversation
times
with the
now.
defense. You said that you first spoke to them in August 2024, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was for approximately 90 minutes, correct?
Yes, I would say so.
And that was in what city?
It was in New York.
And who was present during that conversation?
It was Joe, Chad, and Eleanor.
Eleonora?
Eleanor, yeah, sorry. Pardon.
And did they have an investigator there monitoring or recording the proceedings?
No, it was just them and me.
Did you see them taping anything?
They were not taking anything.
Did you see them taking any notes?
They were not taking any notes.
Do you have any idea how they were in any way memorializing or even remembering what it was you were telling them during this 90-minute interview?
Objection, speculation.
I'm asking if they knows. What's that, Your Honor?
No, all right. The question calls for a yes or no. It's over.
I'm sorry, can you repeat it one more time?
You said they were not recording.
Yes.
You said they were not taking notes.
Correct.
You said there was no investigator that was there monitoring.
Correct.
So I'm asking you, are you aware, do you know how they were keeping track of what you were saying during the interview?
Objection, speculation.
Ask if he knows.
On
He's
that
in the
ground-
interview.
On that ground, we'll rule. And it seems a fact on the other, sustained.
You just testified they were not recording anything.
Next question.
And they were not taking any notes, correct?
That is correct.
So I'm not asking you to speculate, so I'm asking, do you know, are you aware of how they were documenting and keeping track of what you were saying?
Objection. You mean if they were?
Yes, if they were, yes, Your Honor.
I'm not aware.
He's got to tighten up his line of
You had a
questioning. man.
second interview with them when?
January 26th of this year.
January 26th, that would be approximately 6 days after this trial started. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, sure.
Have you seen, sir, the statement, the summary that they turned over of your total information that you provided them in this case? Have you seen it?
Yeah, you showed it to me this morning.
Would you agree, sir, that it is literally 9 bullet points?
Why do we keep going to these
Yes,
meetings?
that's what it appears to be.
You testified on direct examination to a number of incidents and issues already. You talked about the fact that the prop gun was modeled after Glock 26, is that correct?
That's correct.
Would you agree that what you said about the prop gun in your prior statement was as follows? Rocky carried a prop gun after being the victim of prior violence and home invasions, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
What's the
States the
grounds?
evidence, not his prior statements.
Correct? This is what's been represented as your prior statement. Rocky carried a
Objection.
prior- This has been represented as a summary of your prior statement turned over and discovered pursuant to PC 1054.3. Is, sir,
He's getting fired
It
up,
says-
man. Relax.
that you said Rocky carried a prop gun after being the victim of prior violence and home invasions. Is that what you said?
Yeah, this is what the summary says.
Did you provide any more detail than that to them?
In August of 24, I honestly, I can't completely, I mean, if they ask me for more details, then I did give them more details.
Mr. Levin, are you telling me you can't remember your ask about Rocky carrying a prop gun, and you mentioned prior violence and home invasions, and you were saying that you don't know if they asked you, hey, what prior violence, what home invasion? You don't remember that?
I don't want to misspeak, and like I said, I can't completely recall. This is 6-7 months ago.
Well, you just testified to information on direct examination. You would agree regarding home invasion and prior violence that is not in here, is that correct?
I'm sorry, can you ask it another way? I apologize.
You just testified on direct examination. You were asked questions specifically about prior violence and home invasions, and you said, as an example, you saw video of a home invasion, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Can you tell me where in your statement you mentioned anything about a video of a home invasion?
Objection again, Your Honor, it's not in the statement.
What's the, can I get a ground, Your Honor?
Misleading.
Misleading.
ground, overruled. Fine. Misstates the evidence.
It's a question, it's not misstating anything.
Objection's overruled.
Look, can you tell me where you see any information, sir, about having viewed videos of a home invasion?
Objection, it's irrelevant.
Overruled.
Wait,
Relevant?
on his statement.
You said overruled.
Sustained.
On what grounds?
It's not relevant what he sees on that piece of paper.
Did you tell them specifically about the information of viewing video of home invasions during your interview? Just tell them that.
Again, this is 6-7 months ago. I don't want to misspeak. I don't want to say yes, I don't want to say no, and I don't feel confident. I don't want to misspeak. I don't recall, sir. I'm sorry.
What about 2 weeks ago in January when you spoke to them? Did you talk to them about it then?
I believe so, yes.
Did you, sir, ever mention anything to them in any of your interviews about going to a shooting range or trying to go to a shooting range? The incident you just discussed.
Interesting question.
Did you tell them about that?
About the shooting range?
Yes.
Yes.
I want you to take a look and tell me if you see any mention of a shooting range in your statement.
Objection, irrelevant. Your right to say objection is.
I'm sorry, I was talking to Alex.
The question, Your Honor, I've asked him, he testified on direct regarding the shooting range incident, not being able to go there, what happened, how he went to the house, how the 9mm magazine was.
Right. What about that?
I'm asking him, he said, yes, I told them that information. I'm asking him, do you see that information in your statement?
The objection's, it's irrelevant what he sees on that piece of paper.
Did you definitively go through with them, sir, that incident that you testified to on direct examination?
Did I go through with them in detail? No.
Well, what did you tell them about that incident? Was it just what you said on direct?
Did I exactly what I said on direct? I don't know if it was word for word.
Well, did you tell them in essence, sir, about that incident involving your attempt to go to the shooting range and how you ended up leaving a 9mm Glock 43 magazine at the defendant's home? Did you tell them that?
I told them that that was my magazine at the home, yes.
That's not what I asked.
Tracy, do you want to go, can we go another half hour, 45 minutes? I know it's, yes, go ahead.
Yes, we can go.
Go to 3?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Interesting.
I didn't ask you if you mentioned it in your magazine. I asked you, did you tell them about the incident, giving the detail that you just gave on direct examination? Did you tell them that?
What detail in specific is that?
You just on direct examination told you recited an alleged incident where you were going to go to the shooting range. You went over to the defendant's house with all of your guns and magazines, that you had some drinks, and then because you drank too much, you decided you were going to leave a magazine for a gun you didn't own at the defendant's home. Did you tell the defense that during your interview?
No, not in detail like that. I didn't rehearse it with them, if that's what you're trying to say.
That's not what I'm trying to
Okay.
say. I'm asking, did you tell them that?
I didn't tell them in detail like that, no.
Well, do you know then how they knew to ask you about it if you never told them?
About the I told them we were going to go to a shooting range.
Let me continue.
Oh man, he's up there drinking water like Relly. Oh man.
Were you ever
Relax.
asked, sir, were you ever shown
ASAP
What
Blue.
I've just shown you, those bullet points, have you ever given that to the defense and said, hey, listen, Mr. Levin, does this accurately depict what you told us?
The first time I saw that piece of paper was this morning when you showed me.
Did they ever call you to go over your statement, to say, hey, listen, we've got to turn over your statement to the prosecution. We want to make sure we have everything. Did they ever do that?
No.
You said you have knowledge and experience with firearms, is that correct?
Yes.
You said you owned numerous firearms, is that correct?
Correct.
You are currently a resident of California, have been a resident in California for many years, is that correct?
Yes.
And you understand there's a legal duty to register firearms in California, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you would agree that you have a
Said he's
history of
thirsty.
complying with the law and registering your firearms, is that right?
When I buy my firearms, I buy them at a licensed dealer, yes.
And you were aware, sir, before you ever took the stand today, you were aware that the Glock 43 magazine that you allegedly gave to the defendant,
I didn't give it to him. I left it at his
that
house.
you left there.
Yes.
You were aware, sir, that you did not have a registered gun that would fit that magazine, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And in fact, isn't it true, Mr. Levin, that you understood that because you did not have a registered gun that would fit that magazine, that you had to come up with a story to explain how it was that not only you left a magazine at the defendant's house without a firearm to go with it, but also why you had that magazine in the first place. Is that correct?
I didn't have to,
Argumentative. Hang on now.
It's cross-examination.
I didn't have to come up with a story, it's the truth.
And when is it your position that you first told the defense the details that you just described about having brought that magazine over with your gun, having had the drinks, and having left it there? When did you first tell the defense about that?
Like I said, with the full I told him in August that that was my magazine at his house. The full details of that, I can't believe, I can't remember exactly when I told him the full details of the story.
Well, you only talked to him twice, you said, right?
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you tell him that on January 26th?
We didn't get into details. They just asked me about the shooting range incident and why the magazine was there.
Wait, how did they ask you about a
You did
shooting
have a
range
9mm
incident when
millimeter.
you never told them to?
I told you I had told them about it.
So you told them about the shooting range incident back in August of 2024.
Well, yes, I believe so.
And your testimony is that they, even though you told them about it, they didn't ask for any details. Is that correct?
In August of 24, I can't accurately remember. I don't want to misspeak, sir.
Say again?
We just come up with one section.
Now,
Hold on. Off the record? Off? All right.
Yeah, what do y'all think about this testimony so far? I'm not gonna lie. Oh, ASAP Lou is looking kind of shaky up there. And we should be back here in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead. But he's looking a little shaky. He's looking a little nervous up there. Before we skip ahead, I gotta acknowledge the super chats, man. Thank you to everybody who sent in a super chat. And thank you to all of y'all who liked the video too. We got my guy Raymond Gates up in here with the 2 bomb. Appreciate you. We got Charlotte in there as well. Thank you, Charlotte. And dropping the 5 bomb as well, just showing some love. And then, of course, the awesome, amazing Amy is in here with the 5 memberships. If you got a membership from Amy, please make sure that you say thank you and make sure you check out all the dope members only content that we've got here on the channel for you. Shout out to Amy. Yeah, y'all are saying he looks a little nervous. Do you think he's telling the truth? I don't know, man. You're saying he looks nervous. He's letting his nerves get the better of him. Man, I can imagine it's got to be tough. Does he seem like he's telling the truth, though? As a jury member, what do you think? Let's go ahead and skip ahead to when they come back. Here we go. Y'all believe him? I might agree with this. His testimony really doesn't matter. I actually might agree with you on that. All right, I want to make sure. All right, here we go. There we go. You think he's just trying to be calm? I said, nope, he's lying. Ooh. Okay, so Amy is a body language expert. Hey, yo. And she says, body language says he's more nervous than lying. He's tapping his fingers, shifting in his chair. I mean, he's not sweating yet. He's not sweating like Relly was sweating. We'll see. Yeah, I would agree. It's not a great witness.
Well, I handle the prop gun. I know how it works. I've never fired a prop gun, but I understand how it works.
You've seen a prop gun fired, though, correct?
Have I seen one fire in person? No.
You've seen a prop gun either fired in person, in a video.
Oh, in a video or a movie? Yeah, of course, yeah.
And you would agree that a prop gun, it cannot fire an actual projectile, agree?
That's correct.
And would you also agree that because it can't fire a projectile, it has no ability to, for instance, to protect somebody if the other guy has a real gun? Would you agree?
That's not true, because some prop guns can fire projectiles, so I don't know why they're...
I'm sorry, can you ask that different way, please?
So, let's say you pull out a prop gun. There's no bullet that can be fired from that prop gun. And someone in response pulls out a real gun. You would agree, real gun versus prop gun, not good for the person who has a prop gun, agree?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
You understand that in this case, you have said that the defendant was possessing the prop gun because he had been advised by you and a security person as a result of home invasions and stalking and a violent situation where he's been stabbed to carry a prop gun, correct?
Yes.
And would you agree, I want to give you the following scenario. An individual has a prop gun in their possession. Somebody threatens them. The person who has the prop gun takes out that prop gun. Would you agree, Mr. Levin, that in such a scenario, if the individual they pull the prop gun on, at that point in time, if that person does not know it's a prop gun.
Oh, good God. Are y'all following him? Jesus. What? Who taught this man to ask questions? Good God. I have to rewind it because I don't know what the hell. I don't know what in the world he is asking. These are the most compound, nonsensical questions I've ever seen a prosecutor ask. Goodness. All right, we'll take our time. Miss Love was not this bad with rambling on.
The person who has the prop gun takes out that prop gun. Would you agree, Mr. Levin, that in such a scenario, if the individual they pull the prop gun on, at that point in time, if that person does not know it's a prop gun, that when the individual pulling the prop gun is pulling it out, if the other person has a real gun, the person prop gun is going to be in trouble. Would you agree?
Objection, Your Honor. Suspend.
Objection, Your Honor. Stupid ass question. What he was asking is, would he agree that if you have a prop gun and I have a real gun, that you having a prop gun would be at a disadvantage because I have a real gun? We talked about this the other day on the live stream. Good God.
If someone's got a prop gun and they run up against somebody with a real gun, and that person with the real gun sees that prop gun.
Is this the Wild Wild West? You got two people out here with guns? if you're up against another person with what is he saying, man? Ah,
Pull on them, you would agree.
boy, this is
that
brutal.
in that situation,
Brutal.
based on what you know about firearms, that the person with prop gun is likely going to get shot.
Objection, same one.
Thank you for
I want to
sustaining.
give you a scenario,
these
sir.
dumb questions.
You carry firearms, correct?
That's not correct. I do not carry, I'm not licensed to carry a firearm in public.
You're in your house. You're in your home. You have multiple firearms, correct?
Correct.
Somebody comes in that you don't know, and they have a prop gun. But you don't know it's a prop gun. They just
Wow.
pull a gun on you. Would you agree, sir, that when someone pulls a gun on you, you're going to treat that as if it is a real firearm?
I mean, it kind of, it depends on like this. There's other factors in the scenario that I would need to like know. I can't just really speak on that just like that.
So you're in your house, and someone is coming in, an intruder, and you don't know them, and they have a gun in their hand that looks like a real firearm. And you're saying, I don't know if I would consider it a real firearm. Might be a prop gun. Is that your testimony?
Well, no, I'm saying there's other factors that would be in it. If someone came into my home and was pointing a gun at me, and I believed it to be a real gun, most likely I would comply with what they wanted. Because if I thought it was a real gun and I went to go pull out a gun, in the motion of me trying to pull a gun out, they would possibly gun me down.
And would you agree that if somebody is pulling a gun, and you don't know in advance that it is definitely a prop gun, you're going to assume it's a real gun, correct?
Yes.
Now, your testimony is that the defendant was advised that he should be carrying a prop gun, not to protect himself against individuals who knew that he carried a prop gun, but to protect himself against individuals he did not know, like home invaders, stalkers, violent people.
That's
correct?
funny, right?
It was just to fight off any type of violence that could come from, not any specific.
And when you say fight off,
Deter from violence. I'm sorry.
meaning pull a fake gun out of your pocket.
Lower the volume.
Pull a fake gun out of your pocket. And that's what you mean by fighting off?
I mean, it was there to deter violence. So if he was in a situation where he was going to be harmed, it could be there something possibly to calm things down and safely get him out of a bad situation.
Would you agree that just as likely would be you pull that prop gun and the person you pull it on pulls a real gun and shoots you?
I can't speak on that. I mean, it's...
All right. Let me ask you this, sir. It's your
Dumb
position
question.
that everybody around the defendant knew that he carried a prop gun, correct?
His close friends, yes.
And you have heard testimony that Relly was aware that he carried a prop gun, correct?
I didn't hear any other testimony.
I want you to assume that there's been testimony in this case.
Here we go. I want you to assume
Other
again.
defense that Relly was aware
Oh, God.
that it was a prop gun that the defendant was carrying. I want you to assume that.
Lord help us.
Would you agree that if Relly knew that the gun was a prop gun, that it would not offer any deterrent if it were pulled on him because he would know it was fake?
I can't...
Guys. God, what is he doing? What is this prosecutor doing? Again, we talked about this yesterday. He is proving the defense's point. He's proving the defense's point because let's take 12E's story for instance, right? 12E said ASAP Rocky was in an altercation with Relly. Relly picks up ASAP Rocky. The gun slips, right? And the only reason he pulled it out was because he wanted to reposition it, right? 12E also testified that he said that Relly said, "Go ahead and shoot that fake gun." Then they go around the corner into what did he call it? He called it event 2 or scene 2. They go around the corner. It looks like Relly gets into it with Ills. Rocky fires 2 shots. Nobody runs off. Nobody runs away. So again, by asking these questions, it is proving the defense's point that not only is 12E's testimony true, not only did Relly lie, but everyone there knew that Rocky was carrying a fake gun. I don't know why he keeps going down this path, but again, we're looking at it. We've seen everything that the jury has seen. And if I'm sitting on the jury, what are y'all thinking? Why does he keep asking that? Because Relly didn't run away. He actually followed them. It's not just y'all. It can't be just you guys. It can't just be me.
That the gun was a prop gun.
I
That
don't
it
get
would
it.
not offer any deterrent if it were pulled on him because he would know it was fake.
I can't speak to his state of mind in the situation.
Listen to me. I'm not asking you, I'm saying anybody. I want you to assume for a moment, I'll do it in hypothetical terms, all right? I want you to assume that the individual who is pulling the prop gun is pulling it against somebody who knows that it is a prop gun. Would you agree that the only value of the prop gun is if you could scare or intimidate somebody into thinking that it is real?
No, I wouldn't agree with that.
Objection, Your Honor. What's the state of mind of another?
That's not even a legal judgment.
Right, speculation.
He said he's a...
I'm reading back the question. Listen to me, I'm not asking you, I'm saying anybody. I want you to assume for a moment, I'll do it in hypothetical terms, all right? I want you to assume that the individual who is pulling the prop gun is pulling it against somebody who knows that it is a prop gun. Would you believe that, would you agree that the only value of the prop gun is if you can scare or intimidate somebody into thinking that it is real?
Speculation.
Would you agree, Mr. Levin, that if an individual understands that a fake gun you're pulling is fake and not real, then that gun doesn't have any value for deterrence?
Objection. Same objection. Same way.
So, there's been testimony in this case by the defense that, again, Relly was aware that this was a prop gun. Are you aware that the defense in this case, Mr. Levin, is that the defendant pulled the prop gun on Relly to stop him from attacking Hills? Are you aware that that's the defense?
Yes.
Okay, and my question is, given your knowledge of firearms and given your advice to the defendant about carrying a prop gun, would you agree that if Relly knows it is a prop gun, that the theory that you have raised about why the defendant is carrying a prop gun doesn't work?
Objection, Your Honor. Same as before, speculation.
Overruled, as phrased, overruled.
Well, no. So the prop gun, like I said, it makes a loud noise, so that's going to draw attention and possibly draw police to come. So if he's beating up Ills and nothing is going, and he's not stopping, nothing's like stopping him, that loud noise is going to draw a lot of attention from all people around, and it's going to help deter the situation.
Would you agree that?
And that would be true because somebody called 911. Fair point. Interesting point. I don't know if I buy it all the way, but
And
interesting point
he's not
nonetheless.
stopping, nothing's like stopping him. That loud noise is going to draw a lot of attention from all people around, and it's going to help deter the situation.
Would you agree that if a prop gun is used, that there is no reason for the person pulling the prop gun to aim the gun down or to fire, quote, a warning shot, because in the end, the gun can't fire a shot, period? Would you agree?
Objection, speculation, Your Honor. It's just
Yikes. All these questions are getting
You understand
sustained.
how a prop gun works, correct?
Yes.
Can you fire a warning shot with a prop gun?
Yes.
Well, I think they're kind of all warning shots. There's no actual shot bullet that comes out of a projectile.
So you would agree that you can't fire a warning shot with a prop gun because you can't fire a shot, period. All you can do is fire off the prop gun and have it make noise. Would you agree?
That's correct. It doesn't fire a projectile.
Would you agree that if you have a real gun with bullets, and you point it at somebody, and you pull the trigger, that there is a likelihood that that person gets shot? Would you agree?
With an actual firearm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you agree that the idea of a warning shot with a real firearm is that you are pointing the gun in a direction and pulling the trigger where no one is going to be hit, so as to warn the individual, hey, I've got this gun, and if you don't stop what you're doing, I'm going to shoot you. Would you agree?
Objection, speculation, sustained.
Would you agree, Mr. Levin, that in firing a shot with a prop gun, that there would be no reason to aim the gun towards the ground because the gun can't fire anything?
Objection, speculation.
Where's the speculation?
Sustained.
On speculation?
Stop arguing with the judge.
Do you want to argue with me?
I'd like to approach. Your Honor, I'm trying to have.
He said you want to
You're a
argue
very
with me?
important area, and I'm not understanding.
What this witness thinks is the efficacy of a prop gun versus a real gun. What his opinion is irrelevant. Go on to another
Just
section.
so clear, I'm doing it for his credibility in front of the jury,
Sanction.
which is relevant.
You've already touched on it enough. Go on to something else.
Dang. They're losing, man. The state is losing right now. I don't care what anybody says. This is embarrassing.
Have you seen the video involving this incident?
I saw the one that was on TMZ when he first got arrested, whenever it was posted,
So how many times have you seen the video?
maybe twice.
You're saying in 3+ years since this incident involving your brother, one of your best friends, a man you work for, that you have only looked at the video of this charged crime a couple of times.
Yes.
In that video, would you agree, I can show it to you, in that video, would you agree that between shots that the defendant is running around with his gun out and appears to be looking for a line of fire to hit the victim?
Objection, irrelevant. Sustained.
You've given testimony about the current location of the prop gun and how you went to New York and who you gave it to. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That wasn't in the statement that you reviewed with 12 bullet points, was it?
The one that you showed me with the 9 bullet points earlier?
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't in there, correct.
And it's your testimony, though, that you told the defense about this back in August of 2024.
Yes.
And the individual that you returned the gun to, are they alive?
They are. I gave you the info earlier. Well, we talked about it earlier. Yeah.
I'm just saying, they're alive.
That's correct, yes.
Do you know where that gun is today?
Specifically, no. Like I said, when I got back
Shout
to
out
New
to
York, I
Ken
gave it back.
Williams.
Well, so since you became involved, since you've known about where that gun went, since you gave it back, at some point in time, did you become aware that, you know what, the fact that it's a prop gun is important in this case?
Yes.
And you understand that if it's a prop gun, the defendant cannot be guilty of the charges because it's not a real gun. You understand that, correct?
That's correct. It's a problem.
So what efforts did you make in the last 3 years to try to get that prop gun back so that you could demonstrate, hey, my brother, he didn't do this crime? Did you make any efforts?
Yeah, I asked the co-director if he had.
Is he asking him, did you interfere with an investigation? Is that what he really just asked him? Someone said in the chat that's not his job. Sir, did you attempt at any time to tamper with evidence? Evidence at this point, right? At any time, did you go to a Dunkin' Donuts, return to the scene of the crime, look in a garbage can and say, oh, hey, here's the prop gun, I found it, and turn it into the police? What? Ah. Oh, man.
I just still he doesn't.
When did you ask him?
Specifically, I don't remember, sir.
Now, isn't it true, sir, that you testified you returned it in January of 2022?
That's correct, yes.
He's not really.
Did it seem
He's not a
strange
detective,
to you
really.
that you were returning a gun?
A prop gun.
Huh?
A prop gun?
Is a prop gun a gun?
It's a prop gun.
So when I say gun, you don't need to correct me.
Okay.
He said,
When
okay.
you returned the gun, in January of 2022,
Cat
by
went to
that
Dunkin'
time,
Donuts.
you were aware that your friend Rocky
Oh, man.
was potentially going to be getting in some trouble as it relates to that incident, correct?
No, I was not aware of that.
So, but you certainly knew 3 months later in April, correct?
Yes, when he got arrested, I knew he was.
And you knew that day, as soon as you heard about it, you knew, oh my God, I've got information, that gun's not real, correct? You knew that day.
Yes.
Did you go get the gun?
I was in LA. The gun, like I said, I gave it to the director in New York in January.
Did you make an effort to try to get the gun?
I told you I contacted him to see if he still had it.
When did you contact him?
And again, I don't recall the exact date, sir. This is 3 years ago.
Isn't it true, sir, that you didn't contact him for more than a year?
So he did
Sir,
contact
to be
him.
honest, I don't know the exact date I contacted him.
Well, let me ask you something, sir. Wouldn't you have instantly, the day you heard about the defendant getting arrested, wouldn't you have jumped on a plane to get back there and find that prop gun that would have gotten your brother out of the trouble that he was in? Wouldn't you have done it?
I contacted the director. I don't know exactly when to see if he had it. He doesn't have it anymore.
And so you just did you ask him what he did with it?
Yes.
Did you investigate further once he told you?
No, I didn't. I mean, he doesn't have it anymore. I don't know which one to say.
Did you go to the police and tell them what you knew?
No.
Did you go to the prosecution and tell them what you knew?
No.
You're aware that he had a preliminary hearing in November of 2023. You're aware of that preliminary hearing, correct?
Yes.
You knew it was publicized in the media, correct?
Yes. Yes.
You knew that based at that time, that your brother, your close friend, could not have committed this crime because it wasn't a real gun, and you didn't do anything, did you?
I knew it was a prop gun.
Does you yourself, knowing it's a prop gun, does that help your brother with his legal problem if you don't tell anybody?
I'm sorry, can you ask that again?
So we just out here doing the LAPD's job. LAPD's job. What is this? What is this line of questioning? Everybody's not really. Everybody does not want to interfere with an active investigation. There's more ramifications there because they had nothing to gain. They knew the truth, allegedly, right? The truth. Why is he trying to shame him in front of the jury because he didn't try to interfere with this system that prosecutor stands on? No, when I'm called, I'm called. Otherwise, I'm staying out of it.
You said you knew it was a prop gun.
Yes.
My question is,
Except
you understand
LAPD.
the police, the prosecution, and the court needs to understand it's a prop gun in order for you to help them, right?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, nobody contacted me from the police or the courts. Nobody contacted me until like 2 weeks ago, like from the police or the
Wait,
courts.
would you, sir, have had every incentive, every motive, every desire to contact the police and the prosecution to tell them, hey, my buddy, my close friend, my brother Rocky is innocent. That was a fake gun. Wouldn't you have had every motivation to do that?
I knew that this was going to court. I knew I
Mind
was
your
having time to
business.
speak about it here to the jury.
Well, so you decided
He wasn't even
you
there.
would wait, have your brother held to answer, have him brought to trial in front of 12 jurors, rather than simply going to the police and prosecutors and telling them, hey, listen, that was a fake gun. Is that your testimony?
Like I said, I knew that this case was going to trial, and I would have my opportunity to speak here in front of the jury and explain it.
I want to ask you again.
Okay.
Did you understand that by not coming forward, that you were putting your brother, your best friend, in more legal jeopardy? Did you understand that?
No, I didn't. I didn't understand that. I didn't. No.
So, you were present on April 20th, 2022, when a search warrant was served at Mr. Mayor's residence, correct?
I wasn't present when it was served, but I was there during the search, yes.
You were there when they were doing the search, correct?
Correct, yes.
The police, correct?
Yes,
The police, the detectives handling this case, correct?
correct.
That man seated right in the back. Can you stand up for me, detective? You saw him at the defendant's house, correct?
Oh,
That's
Detective
right.
Flores
According to the
still
item
there?
in this case?
Man, get him out of there.
Did you walk up to him and say to him, detective, it was a prop gun. That's not right. He didn't do anything. Did you tell the detective that?
Guys, if a detective comes into your house and they say to you, hey, we got a warrant to search this house. We might find something, we might not. Knowing that you have the right to remain silent and that anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Is anyone in this chat going to start talking to the LAPD? Please let me know. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. It wasn't a gun. It was a prop gun. You think you're just going to start yelling that out to the police? Come on, man. Nobody would do that. Be like, all right, well, I guess I need to get a lawyer. Y'all do what you got to do. What are we doing here, Lewin? Catnot Williams says, no, they will start saying you're trouble too. Jeez. Oh, so you knew about a gun? You gonna get locked up too, man. Come on.
That's not right. He didn't do anything. Did you tell the detective that?
Hell no.
At that time, I didn't know any details of the case. I just got a phone call
didn't
saying
even know
that
why
there
they
was a
were
search
there.
warrant being done at his house, and I should go over there to just be there. I wasn't aware of any of the details of the case. This was early in the morning. I was just getting out of bed. I didn't know that he was being charged for. I didn't
Y'all
know
said
he was
nope.
being charged.
Then you already testified.
Not saying anything.
So you had talked to Rocky the day after the incident happened, and you knew that he had used a prop gun.
Correct.
So you're telling me that when the detectives are showing up, serving a search warrant, that you had no idea what it was related to?
I didn't know that this was going to be. It was going to a criminal case until that day.
Terrible
So
line of question.
when it was that day and the detective is there, you wouldn't have had to call him, you wouldn't have had to go down there. He's right there, and you could have told him it was a prop gun. You could have done that, correct?
I didn't know the details of everything that was going on at that time, sir. I didn't know what was.
Listen to my
It
question.
would be
Could you have
dumb
told
to
the
do that.
detective on that day it was a prop gun, it wasn't real? Could you have done that?
Yep.
When I was speaking to the detective,
Yes.
I could have told him, but I didn't have any details of what was going on, sir. It wasn't at that time. I
Most
didn't
is
know.
right, everything after yes. Did you tell him it was a prop gun?
Did I tell him it was a prop gun on that day?
Yes.
No.
Now, you were also aware on that day,
This is tough.
you were aware that they collected evidence, correct? You were there supporting your friend, is that right?
I was aware they collected evidence.
By the way, you said you got called when they were serving the search warrant. Who called you?
It was somebody that was on the plane with him. I can't remember exactly who it was that day.
Well, so
It was like 7 in the morning. I was just waking up to just, hey, you have to go over to Rocky's house. They're going to search the house. And I just jumped in my car and I didn't ask questions. I just went.
why would you have to go over to Rocky's house when you're serving a search warrant at Rocky's for something that doesn't involve you?
Well, I've worked with him for a long time and I actually like sometimes manage his property. So I'm able to get access to the house. I have keys. So I could have opened the door instead of them busting the gate open and running the door down. I mean, and if they needed anything in there, I was just there. You know, we have nothing to hide, so I was there if they needed anything. Even at one point, they needed to get into a safe, and I'm so sorry.
What's that?
I'm so sorry.
Slow it down.
I'll slow it down. I apologize.
He's speaking too fast. He was on a roll though, man.
So-
Let him cook.
You go over to the house and you are there when they are collecting guns, correct?
I was outside the whole time, so I didn't see exactly what they were collecting.
You became aware on that day or shortly thereafter that detectives did not find a prop gun, correct?
Well, yeah, there was no prop gun in the house
So how did you know there was no prop gun in the house?
because on January of that year, I brought it back to New York. They got to testify.
How did you know there was no other prop gun in the house?
They could have been in the prop gun in the house. I didn't know. I know that that prop gun was back in New York.
Okay, so you also know that the detectives recovered
Managers know everything.
that Glock 43 9mm magazine, correct?
Yes, I know now they did. Correct.
And it's your testimony that that was actually your magazine, am I correct?
That's correct.
And it's your testimony that even though you do not own a Glock 43, that you bought a 380, correct?
I bought a Glock 42, yes.
Which is a 380,
380 caliber,
correct?
that's correct.
380 cannot fire 9mm rounds, correct?
That's correct.
And your testimony is that when you bought it, you somehow inadvertently got the wrong magazine. Is that right?
Happens
I
all the
mistakenly bought
time.
the wrong magazine.
And you
Correct.
didn't realize it was the wrong magazine until literally the day you went over to Rocky's house to end up in preparation for going to the shooting range, correct?
That's correct.
And because you did not know that it was anything other than a 380, right, a Glock 42 magazine that fired 380 caliber ammunition, correct? You didn't find that out until you go to the house and you're like, oh my God, this is the wrong gun, is that right?
Yes.
Did you actually try to put it inside of your Glock 42 to 380?
No, what I was trying to do is I was trying to load it, and I noticed when I put the 380 ammunition in, it was a little too small. It wasn't fitting correctly.
So, Mr. Levin, if you were only using 380 ammunition, and if you're trying to put 380 ammunition, how is it that that magazine was full of 9mm ammunition?
I
don't
also
know.
own a Smith & Wesson M&P9, which is 9mm. I brought both of my handguns that day, so I was loading on my Smith & Wesson magazines with 9mm, and I'm so sorry, I'm going too fast. I was loading up my Smith & Wesson magazines with 9mm, and my Glock 42 magazines with 380.
It
So I had
makes
both
sense.
ammunitions on that day.
Now, you're well aware that a Glock magazine looks nothing like a Smith & Wesson magazine, correct?
Yeah,
They
correct.
look nothing alike, correct?
That's correct.
So my question is, how is it that that Glock magazine, which you thought was to hold 380 ammunition, ended up being loaded with 9mm ammunition? How did that happen?
When I realized the 380 didn't fit, I tried the 9mm in there, and it fit, and then I further inspected it and realized it was a 43 magazine.
So, by the way,
Happens all the time.
so you're telling me you then needed to figure out what kind of magazine it was. And so you decided to put a 9mm round inside the magazine, correct?
Yes.
So, sir, as soon as you put one 9mm round in the magazine, you know it's not for a 380. Why is it fully loaded with approximately 6 rounds of ammunition? A full Glock 43 magazine, full of 9mm ammo.
You already said
Because
the answer.
after we realized we weren't going to the gun range and I packed everything up, I was just fidgeting with it. At that time, I had just first got guns, And sometimes I would sit there and I would load it and unload magazines just fidgeting around.
So you loaded a magazine for a gun you didn't have with ammunition you didn't know went into it. And then when it fit, you fully loaded it all the way. Is that your testimony?
Yes,
Because you were, quote, fidgeting. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Does that sound reasonable to you?
Objection, argument. Mr. Stan.
Isn't it true, sir, that this information about the Glock 43 magazine is what is called a lie? That it never happened, that you never took over a
Oh my
Glock
gosh.
43 magazine there,
Objection,
that you
argument.
never tried to load it with 380 ammunition, and then in fact,
Compound. It's really compound.
wait, the objection was,
It's the most
He's in the middle
compound
of
question in the entire
arguing
universe.
that it's argumentative. There are a number of questions that you're asking. So you're asking question after question after question. So why don't you limit it to one question at a time?
I'm trying to.
Why don't you tighten up?
Because I believe
Boy.
the witness, but I'll take it one at a time and I'll do the total. So, your testimony. I'll be clear. Let me back up for a second. When you bought a Glock, or you bought a Glock 42, correct?
That's correct.
You agree that when you buy a new Glock, it always comes with 2 magazines, correct?
I didn't buy it new, I bought it used. I bought it secondhand from somebody.
You ever bought a new weapon?
Brand new, no. All of my firearms were bought like through secondhand.
When you buy them secondhand, sir, wouldn't you agree? I assume when you bought your 380 secondhand, it came with 2 magazines, correct?
I don't believe so, it just came with one.
You said you know a lot about firearms, correct?
Yeah, I'm knowledgeable.
Is it your testimony that in your experience, that when you buy a new firearm, that generally speaking, that firearm only comes with 1 magazine?
Objection, irrelevant. Sustain.
Sir, isn't it true that the reason that that 9mm magazine was at the defendant's house was because he had a 9mm firearm, a Glock 43, that he used in this shooting of Relly, and that was simply the second magazine that he forgot to get rid of? Isn't that what happened, sir?
No.
No?
As a firearms owner in California, you would agree that it is very difficult, and it has been difficult, to get ammunition in California since 2019. Would you agree?
Yeah, in 2020, I know it was a shortage and prices were going up, but it was difficult at some points, correct?
Not only a shortage, but you would agree that you have to actually, that at the time of this offense in 2021, you would agree you needed approval from the Department of Justice, as well as a California driver's license or a California ID and a local address to purchase ammunition in California, correct?
He don't know.
I don't know about approval, but whenever I bought ammunition, all I had to do is show my driver's license. So that was a California driver's license with an address, yes.
So would you agree that if you don't have, in your experience, if you don't have a California driver's license or a California address, you're just going in to a gun shop to try to get ammunition, then in your experience, you can't do it in California?
Voice
I
did not
believe
match.
so, yeah, that's what I understand, or
Yeah.
at least that, yes.
Do you know of a place to buy ammunition near Hollywood on a Saturday evening after 10 p.m.?
No, I don't know any places.
Who is ASAP Bills?
ASAP Ills is a member of the ASAP group collective.
When's the last time you saw him?
Last year at some point, I want to say maybe November, September. I can't remember the exact date.
When's the last time you had any contact with him? Person, text, you tried to reach him? When's the last time?
Probably around the time I saw him.
Did he travel with you guys on tour to Bangkok?
No, he did not.
You guys were all friends at the time of the incident in November 2021. You, the defendant, 12 and Hills, right?
Yes, correct.
And you would say close friends, correct?
Yeah.
You went to Complex Con on November 7th, correct?
Yes, I did.
And Did you notice any injuries on Hills?
Not that I can see.
What do you think? You know,
I don't know.
Relly,
We'll get
correct?
to it, I guess.
Yes.
Give him a
Would you
chance.
describe Relly in terms of his physical strength as, kind of a weakling, medium, or pretty strong dude?
No, I would say him pretty strong.
And I want you to assume that he had punched somebody with a fist in their face area 3 times. Knowing Relly as you do, would you expect that an individual will receive injuries from that, since you know Relly?
Not necessarily. I can't say that. I've seen boxers before get punched in the face multiple times and look fine. Like, I guess it just depends on the person.
You didn't see Ills with any injuries, though, the night of November 7th, did you?
I wasn't studying his face, but I didn't see any visible injuries. Injuries.
If he would have been bleeding, would you think you would have seen that?
Maybe.
Bleeding that day. What? Bleeding that day.
Bleeding.
Objection.
Yes. If he would have been bleeding on November 7th,
He's going to clarify.
if he was bleeding on November 7th, do you think you would have seen it?
Not necessarily.
You were with Ills, the defendant, and 12E on November 7th, correct?
Correct.
You spoke to the defendant on November 6th after the incident, correct?
I don't know if it was after the incident or the next day, but it was shortly after, yeah, around that time.
When you spoke to him, did he tell you that Relly beat the hell out of Ills?
I don't know if he used those exact words, but they got into an altercation, yes.
What did he
You can
tell
clearly see them
specifically
fighting,
about the altercation with Ills?
This is 4 years ago. I can't remember specific word for word, but I was told that he was beating up Ills.
Did you reveal that in any statement you gave?
I wasn't there that night, so I wasn't really asked about what happened that night.
So you're telling me the defense didn't ask you, what did Rocky tell you about what happened that night? They never asked you that?
To be honest, in August, they didn't ask me that. Like I said, I wasn't there that night, so it's really not, I can't really accurately speak on what happened.
As you sit here right now, I want you to tell me, as best you can, everything that the defendant has ever told you about this incident. I'm not asking you when, I'll get to that, but I want to know everything that he has told you about this incident.
Okay, hold on. We got to take a second. Right now in the chat, I want y'all to give me the over-under on Lewing let him answer this question completely. Is he going to let him, and a lot of y'all have seen this, is he going to let him answer and finish answering the question, or is he going to interrupt him? What do y'all think? What do y'all think? He's not. Hold on, I'm going to wait for some of y'all's answers to get in the chat. While we do that, I got to shout out Cat Not Williams in the building with the 10 bomb. Shout out to Cat Not Williams. Amazing content creator. She is also doing a great job of covering this trial. Y'all make sure you go check her out. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time you go live. She goes live. She's going to go live here in about 12 minutes. I don't want to put you on the tight timeline there, Kat. She's going to go live in about 12 minutes, so make sure you check her out. I know y'all have 5011 devices. Y'all better not leave this stream. I want you to watch both, okay? But make sure you go over there and support Cat Not Williams and show her some love. She says, I do believe the prop gun thing after Lou suggested the prop company is disorganized. Yes, sounds like the Rush trial. Shout out to Cat Not Williams. Yeah, it's easy for those things to go missing. I can imagine. Y'all make sure you go show Cat some love. What are y'all saying? Do you think he's going to let him finish answering the question? We've got a nope. He will strike as non-responsive. Oh, God. Nope. Of course not. Nope. He's going to cut in. Nope. F no. He's not. It's not him. It's not in him. He's going to interrupt for sure. He's not. That's not what I asked you. Oh, God. The attorney thinks he's a firearm expert and ASAPs are thugs. You got to put the S there. The ASAPs, remember? That's why he didn't bother with any experts. Golly. No, he's not. No. Nope, because he knows he's losing. Nope. No. Interrupting him. All right. Okay, I have not seen this yet, so we're gonna find out if he lets him answer the question. Here we go.
He mentioned after the rehearsal, on the 6th in Long Beach, he went to go meet up with Rel. They got into an altercation. Well, he got into an altercation with Ills. Rel was being the aggressor, and he had used the prop gun to kind of stop it, to calm it down.
Did he tell you
He
that
did it?
He was
Hey,
upset
we were wrong.
with Relly beforehand and was trying to meet up with him?
Shout out to
No.
Lewin.
Did you become aware at any point in time that he had been texting Relly, meaning the defendant, trying to meet up
So
with him?
proud of him.
No.
Did you become aware that he had brought his prop gun, allegedly, to this meeting with Relly?
Well, yeah.
Did he ever tell you, you ever ask him, hey, why are you bringing a prop gun with you when you're meeting with another ASAP?
I don't think he
Another
brought it
ASAP.
to, like, just.
Motion to strike is not responsible.
Stop yelling.
I'm sorry?
Stop yelling.
He said stop
Just
yelling.
make the motion and state the reason. You don't have to yell. Now, what was the objection?
It's not responsible. He's given an answer I didn't ask for. Listen to my question.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you why.
He said, will you stop yelling?
I
Jesus.
asked you what he told you. So all my questions going forward, I'm not going to ask you why the defendant told you something, because you wouldn't know. I'm asking you, what did he tell you? So I want to know, what did he specifically tell you about why he brought a prop gun to meet with his friend Relly?
He didn't specifically say he brought it to meet with Relly. Whenever he would leave the house without security, he would bring it with him.
And you're aware of that?
That's a fair
because your
explanation.
counsel
Makes
didn't
sense.
do that, is that correct?
I didn't counsel him to do that. It was just something that he did. It was common knowledge.
I thought you told me that you and the security guy sat down with him and said, hey,
Yeah, we
listen,
thought it would be a good idea, yes. So I don't know if that's counseling him to do it. I mean, maybe I just misunderstanding the word, but yes, me and security at the time, we had thought it was a good idea for him to carry it, and that's what, to my knowledge, that's why he was carrying it. When he would leave the house, if he didn't have the security with him, he would carry that.
That makes 1000% sense. Makes 1000% sense. I don't know how you would argue that. Man, I can't believe the judge just told him to chill. Will you stop yelling? That's crazy. This is insane.
and so you said, that's what he's told you. What else has he said about the incident?
I told you everything that he told me.
That's a
So
great answer.
in the 3+ years that this has happened, the only thing that he has told you is what you just related.
Yes.
You never asked any other details.
No, I didn't ask any other details.
Do you ever call Relly and ask him what happened?
I don't have at that time, me and Relly weren't really on speaking terms.
Did you ever ask Twelby what happened?
No.
You ever ask Ills what happened?
No.
So you're telling me that 4 guys that you at one point were very close to, including Rocky, who you worked for and was responsible for a lot of your incoming success, get into an altercation where at the very least a prop gun is pulled, and you're telling me you never asked 2 of the participants, Ills and Twelby, anything about it ever. Is that your testimony?
I honestly, yes, I never asked them about it. When the defendant told me,
Motion to strike everything after the yes.
sorry.
Yikes. He's still yelling.
Is it your testimony that you were unable to get the gun back from the individual in New York? Or is it your testimony that you never tried?
I was unable to get it.
What efforts did you make to try to get the gun back from the individual in New York?
I asked them.
That's why Joe's leaning back, man. He asked and answered already. He said he called him. Why are we going back through this over and over and over and over again? He said he tried to call and they said they didn't have it. I remember this. Lee, man.
To try to get the gun back from the individual in New York?
I asked him if he still had it.
And when he told you that he didn't, did you make any further effort to track down where it was?
I don't know what other further effort I could have made.
But did you ask him what did he do with it?
I asked him where it was, and he said it's gone.
Did he give you a name of who he gave it to?
He didn't. He doesn't know where it went. To my understanding, is he has a studio right in New York that him and his other creatives they all use. It's like a studio where they keep camera equipment, they keep lighting equipment, they keep prop equipment. It's kind of like a common space, so someone can come in and borrow a camera, borrow a prop for different shoots, and it got misplaced, it got stolen. He said stuff gets missing all the time.
You are aware, sir, that this morning we were finally given the name of the individual that you're saying that you gave the gun to in New York, correct?
Correct.
Objection around
The court has made a ruling on this previously, Your Honor. Are you aware that we called that individual this morning and spoke to him?
Yes.
And it's your testimony that that individual, if asked what happened to the gun, his response would have been, I have no idea.
Objection, Your Honor. It's irrelevant. It's actually sustained.
I can play it, Your Honor,
Sustained.
if you like. The court made certain rulings.
The objection is sustained. Do you recall the other day I talked about speaking objections, arguing? Remember that? Do you remember that?
I do.
All right, I'm keeping track of every speaking objection that was made, every argument with the witness, argument with me.
Sanctions.
I'm keeping track of all that. He made an objection. I sustained it. Go on, give me the next question.
Uh-oh. Sanctions, baby. Can we see? Hey, can someone contact Judge Arnold so we can get the tab on these sanctions? I want to see who's up. What do y'all think it is right now? Let me know in the chat. Who's got the most sanctions right now? I think it's 1,500 per instance. Let me know what y'all think, man. Judge Arnold is not playing with him today.
Have you asked this individual directly?
What's the amount? Let me know.
That he gave the gun to.
He said he's keeping track.
Like
He's
I
over
said,
there.
I don't know what happened to the gun after the prop
The
gun.
motion to strike is non-responsive.
He's already answered the question. He doesn't know.
No, that's not what I asked, Your Honor.
Read it back.
Dang, man.
Have
He
you
gets
asked
big fine.
this individual directly for the name of the person that he gave the gun to?
All right, no, that's fair.
Objection, Your Honor, this states the testimony. He didn't say he gave it.
Over.
Have you asked him for the name of the person that he gave the gun to?
That, wait, that is not what he has testified to.
Your Honor, he testified.
He said he didn't give it to him. He gave it to the person who he got it from.
And I've asked him if he asked the person that he gave it to.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right. I got the question. All right.
Have you asked the person that you gave it to the
Yes.
name of the person that he gave the gun to?
I don't. I asked him if he still had it, and he said no. I didn't ask him. He didn't. When I spoke to him about it, he didn't know where it went. So I didn't ask him who he gave it to because I wasn't aware he gave it to anybody.
But, so when he said no, you didn't ask any further question or make any further effort to find out where the gun was. Is that
I
correct?
asked him if we could get it back, and he said no, it was gone.
Did you ask him any further questions? Yes or no?
No.
I want to go to my last area. I want to talk about prop gun. You're aware that when a prop gun is fired, a semi-automatic prop gun, that although nothing comes out of the barrel, that it has a prop load, correct?
Can you? What does a prop load mean?
So when you load a prop gun, a semi-automatic prop gun, you're putting prop rounds in a magazine.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
And the gun that you're talking about that you gave the defendant was a Glock semi-automatic prop gun, correct?
Correct.
And the way that gun works is the gun is fired. When it is fired, a cartridge ejects out of the side and the next round cycles. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Did you actually load the prop gun?
Yes.
What kind of ammunition did you use to load the prop gun?
It was the blank ammunition that came with it. I don't remember exactly what brand it was.
But you would agree it's a 9mm prop ammo, so it's a round, but instead of being, let me use what we got here. May I approach, Your Honor?
You don't have to ask.
This is a 9mm hollow point, correct?
Yes, correct.
You know what a hollow point is, right?
Yes.
Hollow point at the tip, it's not fully jacketed. It doesn't come to a complete surface. It's got a hole in it. Is that correct?
Yeah, the point is hollow. Yes, correct.
And when this round is fired, the casing, which is in the back, ejects out the side and the bullet goes forward, right?
In a live gun, yes.
Yes. And the difference between this round, which is a real 9mm round, and what you loaded is that instead of having a bullet, a projectile at the tip that fires, it actually has what is in essence a paper bullet, and it doesn't go anywhere and nothing comes out of the barrel. Is that correct?
It's like crimped at the end, so it can't actually fire.
These 2-hour questions are
But it makes
insane.
it sound, correct?
It does.
And it ends up putting out a muzzle flash, correct?
Yeah.
And it ejects the expended casing out of the side, correct?
That's correct.
So when you fire it, no bullet comes out, cartridge gets ejected, the gun automatically, semi-automatic, cycles the next round into the chamber, and you repeat for as many live rounds as you have. Is that correct?
And in case y'all missed it, they have to specify semi-automatic because there's a whole different set of laws or codes that go into assault with a semi-automatic firearm versus assault with a deadly weapon or even assault with a firearm. So that's why they keep having to go into this. And the ramifications of being found guilty of that charge are significantly more time.
Yeah, correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's my understanding of how prop gun works. Correct.
One moment, Your Honor.
California gun laws are garbage. Don't even think about having a gun in California.
Did you only communicate with the defendant by his cell phone number? I'm not going to give it, but you know the cell phone number that's
There's
been
no point.
involved in this case, correct?
Yeah, it's all
I'm not going to name his cell phone number. Is that the only number that you communicated with?
with the defendant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ever communicate with him on other apps, such as Signal or WhatsApp or WeChat?
With the defendant?
Yes.
No, the only other thing I might have communicated with him is through like, you know, how you could iMessage, you could like send iMessages with your email sometimes. I might have used his email to message him before, but never Signal or WhatsApp or WeChat.
Let me approach. This is People's 21. Is this the iMessage that you're talking about addressed to
Yep,
Luigi?
yeah, that's the one, yeah.
And when we say Luigi, that's another name for the defendant, is that right?
No one calls him Luigi, it's just an email address he made.
Okay. One moment, Your Honor. How long before the search warrant was executed at the house in April of 2022 at the defendant's house was it that you had brought over your guns and where you had left the block with the magazine?
That was in, like I said, we went to the shooting range. Well, we were gonna go to the shooting range in summer of 2021. So July, August. I don't remember the exact date, but it was in that vicinity.
And you brought a number of guns there, is that right?
That day, I brought my 2 handguns.
And which handgun did you bring?
Smith & Wesson M&P 9, which is a 9mm, and Glock 42, which is a 380.
Okay. Do you know how it was that you ended up only leaving a Glock 43 magazine that didn't fit any of those guns there? How you managed to leave it there?
Well, because when we realized we couldn't go to the shooting range, I packed up my bag and I left the Glock 43 magazine out while we were drinking and just hanging out. That's when I was fidgeting around with it. The next day when I went to go pick up my stuff, I just grabbed the bag and I didn't grab the magazine because it was separate from my bag.
So it's your testimony that you have to be just fidgeting with this magazine that you had, that didn't fit any gun that you had with you, that you thought was a different magazine. Is that your testimony?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, I have nothing further.
Siegel, thank you.
So Levin, you were asked
There it is.
if you found out that immediately after the incident, Relly demanded money from Rocky. If you were, let me withdraw that. You were asked if you found out immediately after the incident that Relly demanded money from Rocky. If you were coming in here just to keep, to help Rocky instead of telling the truth, would you have just come in here and said, yes, Rocky, we withdraw that. Let me answer it this way. Mr. Levin asked you if Rocky told you
Get it together,
after
brother.
the incident that he was being extorted by Relly, and you said, no, you didn't know immediately after. If you were coming in here just to help Rocky, wouldn't you have said, yeah, he told me immediately after?
And speculation both.
He gets to finish the question.
Even if it's leading?
He gets to finish the question. Finish the question.
Thank you. If you were coming in here just to help Rocky, would you have answered his question that yes, Rocky told you immediately after the incident that Relly was trying to extort him?
Leading and
California
speculation.
does not play about them guns.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, you were asked about why you didn't come forward and tell the prosecutors and the detectives that it was a prop gun. Are you aware that Rocky told his lawyers from the outset that it was a prop
Objection,
gun?
that's going to call for
And his lawyers
speculation.
were
Andrew,
dealing
it's
with
an
the
improper
prosecution?
question.
Stop. It is. It calls for hearsay and it's irrelevant.
Dang.
Objection sustained. Ask another question.
Do you know what conversations Rocky's had with his lawyers? about
Objection,
prop gun?
relevance, also it's going to call for hearsay.
Okay.
Motion to direct the council not to ask any questions in this line.
You feel a question is objectionable, lodge an objection. I'm not going to tell any lawyer how to ask questions.
Dang, man. Relax, brother.
I want to show you People's 41 in evidence.
Jeez.
What is that?
That is the Glock 43 magazine that I left at his house that day.
Do you see any scratches on that at all?
Can I touch it?
Any here? Yeah, please.
No, it looks brand new.
Has it ever been used?
That's going to call for speculation.
Sustained.
How's it look to you?
It looks unused and brand new.
Now, you were asked about the ASAP ills and
There's
cross-examination.
that, Lacey.
Do you know the condition of ills today?
From my knowledge, it's unreal.
Objection, that's going to call for speculation and hearsay.
I'm sorry, I'm speaking too fast.
Running back to foundation.
Now, you were asked about what Rocky told you about the incident repeatedly. Did Rocky tell you about it immediately after it happened?
Yes.
And was this an everyday topic of discussion in your life?
The incident?
Yeah.
No.
And do you know whether Rocky was told by his lawyers after his arrest
Objection.
not to discuss the
Objection.
incident?
Sustained.
Your Honor, can the jury be instructed to ignore that question has been asked 3
Oh
times?
my
You're not
goodness, man. It's hard to
Siegel,
watch.
I don't want you to ask any more questions about conversations that you or Mr. Tacopina had with your client. No more questions about that.
I have no more questions about anything. I'm finished. Thank you
All
very
right.
much. Thank you very much.
Good, thanks.
Mr. Lewin? Wait, whoa,
Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry.
hold
So
on.
sorry. So sorry.
You have anything?
Yeah, he's ready to get out of there.
Subject to
Sorry.
recall.
All right, you can leave for now, but if you're notified to return, you must do so.
Understood. All right. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Next witness. How much time? We still have it at 55 minutes.
Yeah, he was ready to get
Tell
up
me
out of
this.
there.
We'll just issue that stipulatory witnesses.
No, I understand. All right. All right, we'll recess till 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Now listen to what you
Oh
have to
boy.
say after the jury's gone.
Well, we need to approach before the jury's released, Your Honor. This has to do with delaying. This
All
has
right,
to do
come on up, let me hear what you got to say.
All right, there we go. Lewin's gonna go up there and cry again. What do y'all think, man? What do y'all think about this testimony? I was torn at first. I'm not gonna lie. Levin, he was looking pretty shaky. He was looking pretty shaky at first. The story seemed like it was a little bit off, but as he got through his testimony, I think he got more comfortable. Maybe things started to make sense. He got a feel for how John Lewin was gonna ask questions, and yeah, it ended up being a good testimony. I want to hear what y'all think. Also, thank you again to everybody who sent over the super chats. Shout out to Amy over there dropping the cake super chat. Man, I wish I could have some cake right now. That sounds amazing. A shout out to Amy with the super sticker. Thank you so much. And again, big shout out to Cat Not Williams. He said, yeah, I would have lost it on this DA. I would have been up there laughing. I'm not gonna lie. Laughing like, who was it that said it in the chat? Somebody said them about being toddlers. It's tough, man. He loves to bring attention to points. He wants silence. Yeah, he was yelling too. Judge told him to stop yelling. Objection. No. Can't say that. I wonder how much the fines are going to be. Yeah, y'all got to tell me what you think each lawyer is getting fined so far. I think he said up to 1,500. So let's just put a number on it. I doubt that we'll ever, I don't know how we would ever find out that information, but it'll be interesting to see. Also, thank you to everyone who liked the video as well. There's over 1,800 of you in the building and 1,300 of you have liked the video so far. Thank you. Thank you. It's free, y'all, and it really does help us continue to grow. I appreciate it. Send that attorney home too. Then why could the DA ask about the conversations? I told y'all this DA is related to Miss Love. Is this today yet? Not yet, Shy Gal. We should be live here shortly. I think I just saw from someone who's in the courtroom that they were just allowed in probably a few minutes ago, I believe. So let me double check and make sure. That we'll get into it shortly. I wanted to go through the lawsuit because we didn't get to finish that the other day, but I don't know, with the way trial is going, we might not get to the complete lawsuit until after this is over. But y'all rest assured, we're going to continue to cover and go through Relly's entire defamation lawsuit, which we got into a little bit yesterday. So that'll be interesting as well. We also have, y'all are saying, I wonder, I would have asked him for a fade all day. Hey, listen, I don't know. Judge Arnold, he might give Lewin that work. I'm not gonna lie. Did y'all see that knife that Judge Arnold was carrying around? It made me nervous. Admonish Lewin, that was weird to see. I'm saying, yo, stop yelling. You're giving me a headache. It was the end of the day. I'm sure he was done. I don't think prosecutors be worse than Love, but this guy, the jury had to be so glad that the defense lawyer talked his voice is perfect and calling the prosecutor is loud and aggressive. I doubt the jury likes that. I bet he doesn't make them pay anything, says Lacey. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna happen. Coco says squall below. Oh man, I think we might actually be live in the courtroom. Let me see. It looks like we've got a couple that are starting. So let me go ahead and find this, and then we'll see what's going on. I want to go to Court TV. They've had the best. And shout out to whoever put me on to Court TV. I didn't even know they were covering it. And then we found out about them a couple days ago. So let's see. Court TV. Are they live yet? We might have to go to Law and Crime. Let's see. Just because you're louder doesn't mean you're right. That's true. Prosecutor is something else. I tell you, a spoiled child. It's embarrassing. Why are you being so aggressive? And then asking the same question over and over and over and over and over. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. It's making himself look bad, to be honest. All right, so let's see. Trying to get Court TV in here as well. Also, let me see what y'all said about this poll. So when I asked you all, and thank you to everybody that answered, over 1,100 of you answered the poll. Wow. Do you believe Rocky had a prop gun? It looks like 73% of you said yes, and 27% of you said no. So if there's anybody in here that said no, you don't believe Rocky had a prop gun, what do you think actually happened? What do you think went down? I would be interested to hear y'all's thoughts on that. Because him having a real gun, I mean, a lot of the facts aren't adding up. And it seems a little bit shaky. Also, I want to ask y'all another question too about the last testimony we have. So do you believe ASAP? What does he go by? ASAP Louis? We'll just say Louis Levin. Louis Levin's testimony. And I'm talking about the whole thing. All right, so we're not there yet. Oh, here we go. So we're about to start. Y'all give me 1 second. I will be right back.
We're just gonna make, Judge, we call our expert real quick. We're trying to save time here. Possible.
Let's,
No, hold on.
let's do it after the jury has left.
Because we're not coming back to one, can't be to one.
But wait, if we agree on the stipulation,
Then we would read it and then.
we agree to them and you do the charge, and then they could leave for good. Right. But we're gonna make them leave.
Well, we're gonna have to go through instructions because we haven't done it yet. You can't just read to the jury, we haven't done it.
Right.
We gotta go to the jury.
You gotta leave either way.
They gotta leave for the day.
No.
How long will you anticipate it will take us to? Thank you.
I have a pretty good grasp on the instructions. I'll listen to what you both have to say. It shouldn't take more than a half hour to go through the jury instructions and reading them to the jury. Discuss with Mr. Mayers his right to testify?
Yes, sir.
Have you also discussed his right not to testify?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Mayor, do you hear what Mr. Tacopina just said?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you agree with what he has said, just said?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
You understand that you have a right to get on the stand and give your side of the case. You understand and accept that?
I do understand and I understand.
Also, you have a right under the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution not to testify. You cannot be compelled to testify. It's totally your decision to either get on the stand or waive your right to testify and not testify. You understand that?
I understand.
Okay, which right do you wish to take advantage of? The one to testify or the one to not testify?
I'm on my right to not testify.
Right. All right, so do you in fact waive your right to testify in this case?
I do in fact,
Counsel Joint.
yes.
I believe that Mr. Mayor's waiver is knowing, free, and voluntary. I accept it. All right, let's have the jury come in. They'll be told there may be a witness at 1:30. In the interim, the defense, you can ask for your exhibits to be admitted. I understand there's going to be no objection. The people have one additional exhibit. That will be moved in. Then I want to give the jury a 45-minute break. In that period of time, we will discuss the jury instructions informally, after which we will come out and formalize them on the record. After that, I will read the jury instructions to the jury. At some point, if the jury instructions go beyond 1:30, I'll stop reading the jury instructions so the remaining witness, if he testifies, we can take him out of order, and then I will resume the jury instructions. And that will be all for the day. Summations will be on Thursday. Is that the understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, Rocky is not testifying, y'all.
Yeah, they marked a DVD. It's the...
But no, I see y'all asking, is the trial over? Not yet.
Oh.
So they may,
There was something new. That's all.
there may be another testimony. So we may have another witness. But yes, it is true. Rocky is not testifying. What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think? Should Rocky testify? I'm not surprised that he didn't. I think they've already got a solid case in general. Maybe the jury wanted to hear his side. If I were on the jury, I wouldn't want to hear his side. But from a legal standpoint, I think it was probably the right move. Here we go.
Summations will be on Thursday. Is that the understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sorry, you mentioned another exhibit from people going there.
Yeah, they marked a DVD. It's the DVD from Complex.
Oh. So there was something new. That's all. Okay.
All right, let's have the jury.
Y'all are saying he made the right choice. We're about to get the jury in. Smart choice, good choice. It speaks for itself, to be honest. He doesn't and shouldn't. Yeah, there might be somebody else in there. Ooh, you think there should be a directed verdict? Nah, there's too much evidence for a directed verdict, I think. Yes, they off the stand. Rocky needs to testify if the jury doesn't hear him. He's done for 24 years. Oh, man, Casey. Boy, that is a strong stance there. Rocky is smart and well-spoken. He doesn't want to get yelled at. The Harvard lawyers said yes, directed verdict. Harvard lawyers are wrong. There won't be a directed verdict. Shout out to the Harvard lawyers, but no. As someone who would be sitting on the jury is not. I have all the information I need to make a decision on my own.
All parties and counsel are present.
I disagree.
I understand that Mr. Tacopina, that there are no additional witnesses to be called by the defense.
Yes, Your Honor. The defense rests in the case and move our exhibits into evidence.
All right, that would be A through EE. Any objection to A through EE?
No, Your Honor.
A through EE are admitted for the jury's consideration. There was one remaining exhibit that the people marked, which was number 44.
People moved people's 44 into evidence as well, Your Honor.
No objection? All right, all of the exhibits are admitted for the jury's consideration. What's going to happen now is, I wasn't sure if we were going to have more witnesses or not. There may be one at 1:30, I don't know. But, so we don't waste a lot of time. We are going to talk about the jury instructions informally in the office.
Okay, so we
That'll
won't
take
be able to see
about
that.
Half hour, thereabouts. Once we're finished, then we're going to have you come back into the courtroom, and I'm going to read the jury instructions. If there is a witness at 1:30, if I am still reading the jury instructions, I'll stop the jury instructions. The witness will testify. Once the witness is finished, then I'll resume the jury instructions. The jury instructions are going to take me about 35, 40 minutes to read. For those of you note takers, there's no reason to take notes because each one of you is going to get a package of jury instructions in the jury deliberation room. And as long as I'm talking about jury deliberations, you will not be deliberating in the jury deliberation room on this floor. You will be deliberating in the jury deliberation room in Department 115, which is on the 11th floor. So when you finally begin deliberations, you'll be escorted to the 11th floor into the jury deliberation room. Department 115 is my normal courtroom. So that's where you will be deliberating. Once you arrive at a verdict, the verdict will be read in here in 102. Okay? All right, so it's 10:30, 10:24.
20-minute jury
I'd like
deliberation.
you all to come back at 11. Be outside the courtroom doors at 11, as close to that time as possible. I'll begin reading the jury instructions to you, and there's no reason I won't be able to finish before 12. So leave all your materials on your desk. Remember, do not talk about the case. The case is not over. You have not been released to deliberate yet. So keep everything to yourself. All right, we'll see you at about 11. Let's go back. What?
Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
So we're not quite on verdict watch
I don't
yet.
know, that's why I'm asking this question. What happens with the alternates?
Oh, no, that's a very good question. Once the jury begins to deliberate, you and the other three alternates, you will not be in the jury deliberation.
Right, I understand.
You will have to be close by because if we need to summon you, you need to be here in short order. You will only go into the jury deliberation room if one of the jurors has to leave the case. But you will be in the jury box during jury instructions and during summations.
And can I just get a clarification for what you mean by close by? Are we allowed to go home?
No.
No, you're a part of the jury. You gotta stay away.
I would want you to be able to be here in 5 minutes. You can be in the hallway, you can be in the jury assembly room, you can be in the cafeteria. But if we need you quickly.
Okay.
All right, then we'll see everybody at 11. Come on back. Let's go back. Brought the record.
All right, so they're going to get the jury instructions together. It's going to take them about 30 minutes, and they'll be back at 11. What do y'all think is going to happen? Oh, man. It all comes down to this. Sure, let me see what y'all are saying. Also, shout out to Samantha Crumbly with the one bomb over there in the building. Thank you for the super sticker, Samantha. She says, nope. It's tough. Oh, man. Did they do closings? Nope, no closings yet. Well, I'm going to assume since the state is stubborn, the charges will stay how they are, and he will be found not guilty. Yeah, they offered him a guilty plea on 1 count instead of 2. And then, 6 months in jail and 8-something years of probation, I believe. She's wild. Can we go home? She's ready to get out of there. It's going to be not guilty because the case has not been proven beyond a reasonable doubt by any stretch of the imagination. Relly's testimony was garbage. Absolute garbage. So bad. So bad. There's no time frame on deliberation. Yeah, that would be nice. Worse than garbage. Ugh, Rocky needs to tighten up. He has priors, and if he wants to remain a free man, he needs to do better. This is a 50-50, says Nikki. I disagree. Good afternoon, everybody who's just stopping by. Oh, I did not mean to post that in the chat again. Good afternoon to everybody who's saying what's up. Let me see what y'all are saying. Rocky needs to hire armed security. Prosecution presented a horrible case, and it should have been a lot easier for them. They didn't have much to go on. I mean, the first questions you ask to a witness is starting to attack their character. Like, can we go off of the alleged evidence at least? Can we address his testimony? Are you just going to say, oh, so you're a friend with ASAP Rocky, huh? All right. He's winning, talking about ASAP Rocky. Why get up there and the yeller make him mad and Rocky end up saying something he don't need to say? Nah. I agree 1000%. Verdict shouldn't take long. Y'all think we're going to have a verdict today? Maybe that's what I should have asked. And most of y'all believe, over 84% of you believe Lewis Levin's testimony. So let me see what y'all think. If there will be a verdict today. Will there be a verdict? Oh, I can't spell. I want to know what y'all think about that. Oh, really. And we already talked about the ramifications it could have on his civil case as well. We went through that. The testimony for this trial, especially not if he's found not guilty, could be used in the civil case. It was wild. Samantha Crumbly again with the 499. The 5-bomb over there says definitely not guilty. Oh, man. I know it's tough, y'all. It's tough because if you look at the actual charge from the legal side, from a legal standpoint, I think the state actually does have a case. If you just go based off the penal codes and the actual California law. But if you're a juror and you're just looking at this based on the testimony, the evidence that was presented, they got nothing. So I think that's going to be the problem for the prosecutor in this case, because you really did not show that this was assault with a semi-automatic firearm. I'm not seeing it. Y'all aren't seeing it. I mean, it doesn't add up. So I don't know how they prove their case based on that. Closing not happening till Thursday, so obviously no verdict. Man, Emily C, why are you ruining it? Y'all are no fun, man. Y'all are too smart. Shout out to this community. I was trying to catch y'all off guard, but can't believe that, man. No, of course not. And we still have a possible witness too. And y'all are no fun. All right, I took the poll away. We can't have a verdict, no closing statements. Yeah, y'all are too good. It comes down to, was Relly really scared that Rocky had a real gun, even though Relly knew that Rocky carried a starter pistol? That it is. Well, here's the thing. If he was afraid he had a real gun, he didn't run off. He actually followed them when Rocky left the scene. And Relly's defense for that was, oh, well, I was mad. I was just mad. And I couldn't believe he did that to me. So I followed him. What? Okay. If you say so, Emily C said, sorry for ruining it. Dang, Emily, I had this whole thing set up. And I was going to get y'all, but y'all are too good, man. Y'all know this stuff so well. I asked about closing 10 minutes ago. Can't get me. I know, Grimmy. You're good. If shots fired. Oh, why didn't everyone run? Even the people on the streets was scrolling. They're on their phone like, did you hear that? Somebody shooting? I don't know. The girl on the balcony was high. It was like, man, I think I heard gunshots. Look at those guys down there. What are they doing? Relly sure didn't run and kept swinging after the shot. ASAP is not guilty. The only ASAP that is guilty is ASAP Relly right now. Why follow them if he has a real gun? I swear I need that what button at work. I'm gonna get it made into a yeah, I'm gonna sell them. I'm gonna start selling it. Rocky's a dummy for carrying a prop gun. I agree. And this is not talked about enough. Shout out to Dustin B. Rocky, we gave so much hell to Relly in all of this. But let's be real. ASAP Rocky is the biggest loser in this entire situation. ASAP Rocky, with everything that he has to lose, with everything he is, with his family, with the mother of his child, why would you put yourself in this situation at all? And somebody was talking about this in the chat and asked me about the lawsuit, or they mentioned that, oh yeah, just because he might get a not guilty here, it doesn't mean that his civil lawsuit is going to go away. And we talked about that. I think ASAP Rocky, I think he should write Relly a check. I think he should settle. I think he should make this go away, save himself some time, save another embarrassing trial, save himself the money, and also pay a stupid tax. Rocky, ASAP Rocky, he needs to feel this. He needs to pay his stupid tax. He needs to write Relly a check for doing this dumb. He should have never been out there. He should have never been walking up on a guy aggressively with the gun, prop gun or not. And whether it was falling out of his pants or whether he pulled it out, another dumb thing shouldn't have done. And then the other guy gets into an altercation with somebody and he fires 2 shots. Another dumb decision. ASAP Rocky, he needs to feel this because I don't know what it's going to take for him. Y'all mentioned he does have priors, but this was so stupid. So dumb. And I don't think he needs to, I don't think he should be found guilty of assault with a semi-automatic firearm from what I've seen the evidence. But when it comes to this lawsuit, yeah. Like he should have never been out there. He should have never been running up on another guy like this. It was just dumb. It was dumb. And yeah, y'all might not like it. You might not like Relly, but that doesn't mean from a civil aspect, Relly doesn't deserve something. So we got to look at it fair on both sides. Because no one is denying that this happened. ASAP Rocky's not denying it. Bally's not denying it. Louis Levin's not denying it. ASAP 12's not denying it. It did happen. And you don't get to say, especially in a civil lawsuit, how it affected somebody else. So I know most of y'all are going to disagree because it's Relly. But Rocky made that decision and now you got to deal with it. Why would he do that? To save time. Like, why are you going to go through all of this again? In a civil case, we talked about it yesterday. Let me go ahead and I want to read this exactly. So here's what we looked at the other day. So if ASAP Rocky is found not guilty in the criminal case, it could impact ASAP Relly's civil lawsuit, but it wouldn't necessarily stop it. All right, here's the reasons why. Burden of proof differences. This is the big one. In a criminal trial, the prosecution must prove guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a much larger standard than a civil case where liability only needs to be proven by a preponderance of the evidence. So, and that means it's more likely than not. So if Rocky is acquitted, Relly could still win his civil case. It shows if he shows enough evidence. When it comes to the civil, I mean, when it comes to the civil case, the video enough might be enough evidence for that. And Rocky can fight this. He can go to civil court and try and win this one, but I honestly don't think he wins the civil case. What's the second thing? Influence on the civil case. A not guilty verdict might make it harder for Relly to argue his case, especially if the jury in the criminal trial found that there wasn't enough credible evidence. However, civil juries don't always follow criminal verdicts. The potential use of criminal trial evidence. If Rocky is acquitted, his defense team can use the same argument in the civil trial, possibly weakening Relly's claims. But if Rocky made any statements during the criminal case, which he's not, so that doesn't factor in, they could still be used against him in civil court. Perception and settlement negotiations. A not guilty verdict could pressure Relly to settle or even reconsider proceeding, especially if public perception shifts against his claims. The bar is a lot lower. Yes, absolutely. Oh, that's a great question. How much do you think he should give? How much do I think Relly should get? Man, I don't know. I would have to look at the law. I mean, maybe give him 1%, 10% of what he's asking for. I'll say he's asking for 30 million. .001% maybe. $20. I think maybe he should I think Rocky should probably refund him for that Dunkin' Donuts he had to buy so he could get that bag. What do y'all think? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to think about that for a second. But if I had to answer that question right now, I would say 300. Let's say 300K. I'll say 300K, give him 1% of what he's asking for, and then just let it go. I'm glad Rocky's not testifying too. I said Relly should be paying them. Look at R. Kelly in jail and pay people off. Stop paying these folks go away money. Yeah, I had an attorney said, I think it was Jim R. said that more people should fight these civil lawsuits. But man, looking at that video, I don't know. Why would he do that, says Monica? To save the trouble. I'm doing it. If I had that money, I'm not going through this. I'm going to write him a check, say, leave me alone. I don't want to ever see you again. That's just me though. I don't have the time. I don't want to deal with it. I'm found not guilty in the criminal trial. Just go away, dude. Never talk to me again. So I'm not giving them 30 million though. I'm going to settle something. Not going to lie. Relly would not get any of the money. I'd rather he donate it to charity. I disagree with Relly getting anything. Relly better testify better in civil than he did, because those texts bury him. ASAP Rocky, just give dude a little cash. How he got a carry permit if he has priors? That's a good question. And I don't know the answer to that, but I'll find out for you. But since all this actually happened, he's got 2 kids, now a whole different man. The bar is lower for civil case verdicts. Yes. I wouldn't pay Relly-ish. I would never settle with a scamming liar. I'm fighting to make a point. Relly ain't chilling on the bench on my dime. New York keeps drama with their entertainers. Some of y'all disagree with me. Give Relly $5 and tell him to get honest. He should have taken the plea. Oh. No, I disagree with that. Absolutely not. Relly's a liar. Can't reward that. Right Streets in here said Rocky should have been under the umbrella. Ella, A. Shout out to Rice Street. Oh my gosh. Honestly, all these fake thugs need to be stopped. They made it, left their homeboys broke and the community down's whack. Leave those broke trash people behind. Fine, but don't go back and do the dumb stuff that you got out of. Get out and stay out. Be an example. Let them look at you and say, wow, look at ASAP Rocky. He got out. Don't be going back there doing the same dumb-ish that they're doing. That makes you no better than them, except you got a little bit more money. Disagreement between brothers can happen at any age. Don't pay Relly a dime. I don't know how much lawyers' fees are. Rocky, just pay his lawyers. Also, we've got a super chat in the building. Shout out to G is up in here with the 5 bomb. What did she say? He pressed charges only because he needed to file a civil suit. And that was alleged during the trial as well. Risking a friend's life because you think you're owed money? Shaking my head. Shows his character. Yeah, that man has little to no character. And from what we've seen, he lied on the stand as well. If I had hundreds of millions, I'd give him $300K after a not guilty plea just to be able to say game over. Yeah, just let him go. And then I'd make a song about it. Thank you for the super chat, G. I appreciate it. What else are we saying? I wouldn't have said all that. I would have just said I didn't ask. I don't know where it is. He lied a lot. 30 million to give his friend 24 years. Garbage. Integrity is few and far between these days. Ain't that the truth? He's extremely annoying. He's yelling motion strikes as if it had an impact. This guy's a horrible lawyer talking about Lewin. He's way too aggressive and combative with the judge. 30 grand for his supposed hospital bills, maybe supposed hand therapy. There is no being terrified. He wasn't afraid that we'll have to look at ability to earn a living if he was blackballed. Yeah, we talked about that in the first lawsuit. That's going to be an interesting one to see them argue if it ever gets to that point, which I'm telling y'all, I highly doubt that the civil case goes to trial. And y'all can hold me to that. That ability to earn is going to be one of the biggest ones of the initial lawsuit. And then defamation is the major lawsuit, which we actually have a little bit of time before they come back. Maybe we'll go through that defamation lawsuit here in a second. Also, shout out to Samantha Crumbly in here again with the 10 bomb. She says ASAP Rocky should pay him no attention. He needs to cut ties with toxic people. That's what I'm saying. Just write the check and be done with it. 30 million, 30K. No, 30 nothing. Y'all are saying. I'm writing the check. Y'all call me what you want. I'm writing the check. And I said, dude, I don't even want to be in the same city as you. Don't talk to me ever again. The hardest part of this trial, his freedom is on the line for sure. Relly is on his AZZ for this. I could see if Relly wasn't the aggressive one. It seems to look anyway. Yeah, it definitely looks like Rocky walked by him, said what he said, and then Relly pressed up on him. But that's up to the jury to decide. Relly did not think it would go this far. He just thought Rocky would give him the 30K. Well, it's too late. Once that indictment comes down, you can't pay somebody for a criminal indictment. Like, you got to see it. You got to see it through or take a plea. Black on black and lawyers win. Great entertainment. Oh, jeez. And they were friends too. That's what makes it even worse, which is, I mean, that's always the way it is. One of my sons played in the NFL and didn't go back to the hood. Shout out to him. Thank God. Stay out the hood, stay out the streets. Garbage. I don't even want to come to the cookout, man. I'm gonna have my own cookout and I'm not inviting y'all. Sorry. Nope. We leave it all behind. My thing is that he followed him. Could have went about his business. Don't pay him ish. His hospital bills was his own fault. He should have never been hitting on ills. Yeah. That was dumb. Rocky needs to cut off ASAP Bari too. He's a snake. Oh, look out for Bari. That's just it. If you give him money, he will come back for more. I mean, I don't see how. I don't see how. Classy Beats, you just write us a check. Barbecue sounds good. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, lunch sounds great right now. I don't understand how the attorneys are able to ask hypothetical questions. That is annoying, Mo. Like, say for instance that, oh, I don't know, you're a police officer and you pull up to the scene. Do you think you would have been able to find those shell casings? It's like, what? I don't know what we're doing. It's weird. In a civil case, how are they ever going to prove that it wasn't a prop gun? Or they don't have to prove that. Nope. Let's go ahead and get into it. We've got 10 minutes before they allegedly come back. So I'm going to leave this up. And then when we hear some talking, we'll come back to it. So let me do this. Let's look into the lawsuit and see what they're actually saying and what they want. We covered it a little bit on, what's today? Tuesday? Yesterday, on Monday. Feels like 3 days ago. And I'll go back into this lawsuit for y'all so we can talk about it. Yeah, but I've had plenty of arguments and fights with friends and no one ever pulled anything out or threatened each other. Well, you've got some good friends, Connie. I wish I could say the same. I will say that the friends that did do that, they are long gone. We won't get into that conversation here on the internet. Giving him money is giving him what he wanted. Hell no, I'm giving him nothing. Don't let your pride get in the way. That's what got Rocky in this situation in the first place. Write the check, take your stupid tax, and take your ass home. Period. Why drag this out? Get your not guilty verdict. Call up Camille and say, can we settle this, please? I'm good. I don't want to go through this. Now, the other thing is, Joe Tacopina is mentioned in this lawsuit. So that's another thing. I'm talking from ASAP Rocky's perspective right now. Y'all got to remember, Joe is mentioned on this and Joe's law firm is mentioned in this lawsuit too. So you think Joe's going to let this go? I don't think Joe is writing anybody a check. Joe's collecting checks, all right? He's out here. He's a bag chaser. We got any bag chasers in the building? Shout out to Anton Daniels. So I can't foresee Joe writing anybody a check, especially that guy. But yeah, ASAP Rocky, write the check, man. Be done with it and let Joe eat your popcorn while Joe handles the situation. Let me see if I can find this. And shout out to Kat Not Williams. She actually got me this lawsuit. Let me find the right one. A motion opposition complaint. Which one is it? It's one of these two. Let me see. I'm going to find it for y'all and we're going to go through it while we're waiting. Is this the defamation lawsuit? No, this is the one we went through yesterday. So here we go. So it should be this one. And then we can look at this and actually see what's going on. This is 9/19. We've got this one on 8. So I don't think that's the right one either. Let's go with, if I see, here's the initial complaint. Here we go. This is what we want right here. What's the date on this one? The date is 9/11. Okay. And then they have an amended complaint, but it really doesn't matter that much. So let me make sure y'all can see and we'll go through this while we're waiting on court to get back. So I think we stopped at, we were talking about the parties. We got through, okay, the allegations. Here we go. So what are we looking at here? We are looking at a defamation lawsuit. Now, the initial lawsuit we talked about, this one was filed on, what's the date? I think it was August. Yes, August 10th of 2022. And this was the initial complaint. We already went through that. I will clip that and post it probably sometime tomorrow for y'all. But this was the initial complaint. Plaintiff's complaint for damages, assault, battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligence, and negligence per se. Now we've got the big dog. And this one is, I mean, it's like 33 pages long. It's got a bunch of exhibits in there as well, news articles, YouTube videos, things of that nature. We went through it. We talked about the beginning, what they were looking for, what Joe Tacopina said to the news outlet, basically saying that Relly was a snitch, Relly was a rat, and a liar. So not happy about that at all. All right, so we got the parties in there. We know who they are. Let's get into the general allegations. So what is Relly saying happened in this defamation lawsuit? ASAP Mob, plaintiff and Mr. Mayers. So we've got Relly and ASAP Rocky are recording artists that are a part of a musical group known as ASAP Mob. With ASAP representing the motto, always strive and prosper, members of ASAP Mob are also known by their stage names preceded by the ASAP prefix. Rocky is known as ASAP Rocky and Relly is known as ASAP Relly. Mr. Mayers shoots the plaintiff on November 26, November 6, 2021. Rocky contacted Relly and requested to meet Relly in Los Angeles. Rocky then proceeded to meet Relly at his location in the Hollywood area. Rocky initiated a verbal altercation. He said, "What up now?" I'm not going to say the word, but y'all know what he said. He initiated a verbal altercation and subsequently pulled out a handgun and pointed it at Relly, which we know was not true. Okay.
Stop the cap.
So we got a problem there. Rocky fired multiple shots at Relly and not at him, but at the ground, which resulted in Relly being struck by a bullet projectile and fragments that caused plaintiff injury. So he was struck by a bullet and fragments. All right, not a bullet, not projectiles or not fragments. He was struck by both. Good Lord. Rocky then fled the scene on foot, a large portion of the incident. And importantly, Rocky shooting Relly was captured by video. No. Rocky is criminally charged following an investigation of the incident by the LAPD. On April 20th, 2022, Rocky was apprehended in LA at the LA International Airport, LAX, after returning to the country from Barbados, Rihanna's home country. On the same day, a search warrant was executed on Rocky's house. On August 15, 2022, Rocky was criminally charged with 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, a semi-automatic firearm, a felony that carries a potential custodial sentence of 9 years. In connection with these charges, District Attorney George Gasson stated that discharging a gun in a public place is a serious offense that could have ended with tragic consequences, not only for the person targeted, but also for innocent bystanders visiting Hollywood. My office conducted a thorough review of the evidence in this case and determined that the addition of a special firearm allegation was warranted.
Stop the cap.
Yeah, okay. Relly sues Rocky. On August 10th, 2022, Relly filed a civil action in the Superior Court, State of California for the County of Los Angeles, LASC, alleging the following causes of action. 1, assault. 2, battery. 3, intentional infliction of emotional distress. And as we read before, negligence and negligence per se. All right. The assault action. In the assault action, Relly alleged that he was shot by Rocky. Oh my gosh. And that Relly was required to seek medical attention for his injuries sustained by Rocky's discharge of the firearm, but not before he contacted his lawyer to make sure that was the right thing to do, right? Furthermore, Relly alleged that he was in fear of his life when Rocky brandished the firearm, pointed it at Relly, discharged several shots, and ultimately injured Relly. Relly alleged that he was experiencing severe emotional distress. It's tough, man. Joe Tacopina defends Rocky. On September 15, 2022, Joe, through the Tacopina law, filed a general denial of Relly's complaint on Rocky's behalf. On September 19, 2022, Joe, through the Tacopina law, filed an application in LASC to be admitted pro hoc v. I always mess that up. Whatever. Y'all know. PHV. We're going to call it. Sounds like something else. Anyway. Hey, yo. As attorney of record for Rocky in an assault action. On October 12, 2022, Joe Tacopina's PHV application was granted. Defendants defame Relly. Oh man, he got his feelings hurt. Emotional. I see y'all over there. Emotional damage. Oh, that's tough. Notwithstanding the LAPD's detailed investigation and the pending felony charges against Rocky, defendants commenced a campaign of malicious lies to various news media sources, falsely painting Relly as, among other things, a liar, a blackmailer, an extortionist, and a money grabber. Well, y'all think they got that one right? Specifically, Rocky, through his attorneys and agents, including specifically the Tacopina defendants, have published defamatory statements as outlined below. Who do they talk to? TMZ, of course, big dogs. On or about September 16, 2022, Mr. Tacopina, acting in his capacity as an attorney at the Tacopina law and acting on behalf of and at the direction of ASAP Rocky, gave an interview to news media publication TMZ that printed in part in an article titled ASAP Rocky, I Never Shot Him. It's an extortion attempt. Oh, man. A true and correct copy of the TMZ article is attached hereto as Exhibit 1. Right? The TMZ article opens. ASAP Rocky is clear. He did not shoot ASAP Relly, pushing back against the accuser, whom Rocky says is simply trying to make a cash grab. In the TMZ article, Joe is reported, as stating that Rocky didn't commit a crime. It was an extortion attempt by a former associate who threatened to make false criminal accusations if Rocky didn't pay him. Joe further stated that he has two eyewitnesses who back Rocky's story, not only that Relly wasn't hit by bullet fragments, but that no shot was even fired. Well, shots were fired, but I get what he's saying there. He's saying it was a prop gun, so there was no projectile, I believe, is what he's trying to say. In other words, the TMZ article concludes Relly has made up the story in a get-rich-quick scheme. Dang. The explicit and implicit message communicated by Joe was that, one, the plaintiff is a liar. We saw that in court ourselves, so can't really argue that. Two, Rocky did not shoot Relly or discharge a firearm. He did discharge a firearm. Did he shoot him? It's not looking like it. Relly was not injured in the altercation by Rocky's discharge of the firearm. Doesn't look like it. Relly was attempting to extort Rocky. Relly threatened to make false criminal accusations unless paid by Rocky. And Relly made the whole incident up to get rich quick. The statements were false, designed to tarnish Relly's reputation and image, and defendants knew that the statements were false at the time they were made. Who else did they talk to? They talked to Rolling Stone too? Dang. On or about September 16, 2022, Joe, acting in his capacity as a lawyer at the Tacopina law and acting on behalf of and at the direction of Rocky, gave an interview to news media publication Rolling Stone that was printed in part in an article authored by Nancy Dillon titled ASAP Rocky Lawyer Says Jealous. ASAP Relly fabricated shooting an attempt at extortion. All right, a true and correct copy of the Rolling Stone article is attached hereto as Exhibit 2. We'll see those exhibits in a second. In the Rolling Stone article, Mr. Tacopina is reported as stating that ASAP Rocky is the victim of a failed shakedown and fabricated shooting accusation orchestrated by his jealous former friend ASAP Relly. I mean, that's what it was looking like. He said he called him Mr. 6 months because he never called him. It's tough, man. Joe further stated that Rocky did not shoot Relly by any stretch and called the firearm assault allegation a false scenario at the heart of a plain and blatant classic attempt at extortion. Joe told Rolling Stone that Relly had been badgering Rocky for money before he allegedly initiated a physical altercation at a face-to-face meeting and then tried to spin the confrontation into a shooting claim. Joe further stated that the plaintiffs Joe further stated that Relly is a failed ex-associate of Rocky, and he's jealous. Relly was trying to get money from Rocky. He wanted Rocky to support him. He made it clear. There were repeated attempts where he tried to ask for money in lieu of not causing problems for Rocky. That's what he said. We have all this memorialized in text messages and otherwise, so it's an extortion. Joe further stated to the Rolling Stone that the plaintiff and not Rocky, or Relly and not Rocky, was the aggressor. We kind of saw that in the video too. Although Rocky, it looks like he initiated or had some words at first, Relly was the first one that pushed up on him. He said Relly tried to attack Rocky and some other guy got involved. And he punched some other guy in the face and knocked his teeth out. Hey, yo. And of course, now, according to him, he's a victim. The explicit and implicit message communicated by Joe, acting in his capacity as agent and attorney for Rocky, was that Relly is a liar. Rocky did not shoot Relly or discharge a firearm, and Relly fabricated the incident. Relly initiated the altercation and was the aggressor in the situation. Plaintiff, or Relly, was attempting to extort Rocky, and Relly threatened to make false criminal accusations unless paid by Rocky. These statements were false, designed to tarnish Relly's reputation and image, and the defendants knew that the statements were false at the time they were made. There are some false statements in there. I have to give them that. Is Relly a liar? That's true. Did Rocky did not shoot Relly or discharge a firearm? He did discharge a firearm. We heard it. So that part's not all the way true on the defendant's side. Relly fabricated the incident. Relly did not fabricate the incident. We can see it all on video. Relly initiated the altercation with the aggressor and was the aggressor in the situation. I think that's up for debate. Relly was attempting to extort Rocky. That was clear. What else? Relly threatened to make false criminal accusations unless paid by Rocky. We haven't seen that as clearly in this trial yet. It was mentioned briefly, but they didn't show clear evidence of that. So maybe we would see it more in the civil case. Defendants' defamatory statements are republished. Here we go. Rocky's blatant lies in the TMZ article and Rolling Stone article spread far and wide and were reprinted and published in several publications, including without limitation the following: Vibe, and they published an article called ASAP Rocky's lawyer calls alleged shooting claim an extortion attempt on September 19th, 2022. BET, same thing. They also add that Relly is jealous. The Root, same thing. Rocky didn't shoot him by any stretch, the rapper's defense lawyer Joe Tacopina said in a statement. We got SOHH. ASAP Rocky's lawyer claims ASAP Relly lied about the shooting incident to extort money. Dang. Complex. ASAP Rocky responds to ASAP Relly's lawsuit accusing rapper of shooting him on September 16, 22. And then Daily Mail, ASAP Rocky claims he is being extorted and did not shoot his friend or accuser during the argument in Hollywood, September 16, 2022. Y'all are asking about the last witness is allegedly the person that works at Dunkin' Donuts. So we might hear from them. In particular, Tacopina Law republished the TMZ article and Rolling Stone article on its website, thereby adopting and ratifying Joe's statements contained therein. Attached here too as Exhibit 3 and 4 are true and correct copies of the pages, Tacopina Law's websites linking directly to the articles. Radio interview. Oh my gosh, they went on a tour. On September 26, 2022, Joe, acting in his capacity as an attorney at the Tacopina Law and acting on behalf and at the direction of Rocky, gave an interview on a radio show called Sid and Friends in the Morning. The radio view is gonna be referred to hereafter. In the radio interview, Joe stated the following. Here we go. Rocky has been accused of assaulting someone with a gun. A former friend of his, someone who clearly became jealous of Rocky and accused him of assaulting him with a gun. I will tell you this. If they don't dismiss this case, we will be going to trial because he is not guilty. It is a clear extortion play. I have proof of the extortion before the charges were brought in. He's asking for millions and millions of dollars. We have this memorialized rock solid, and it's a shame that they brought this case. I agree. The explicit and implicit message communicated by Mr. Tacopina Joe in the context of the pending court cases and Rocky's media campaign against Relly was that 1, the plaintiff is a liar. 2, Rocky did not shoot Relly or discharge a firearm, we know, and Relly fabricated the incident. 3, Relly initiated the altercation and was the aggressor in the situation. 4, Relly was attempting to extort Rocky. And 5, Relly threatened to make false criminal accusations unless paid by Rocky. These statements were false, designed to tarnish Relly's reputation and image, and the defendants knew that the statements were false at the time they were made. Relly receives death threats and suffers extreme distress. Oh, man. As a result of the defendant's malicious or Rocky's malicious publication of the false and defamatory statements identified herein, the plaintiff has received several death threats on social media and otherwise, has been the subject of ridicule and abuse, and has lost esteem in the community. What? And has suffered extreme emotional distress and other damages. Y'all think Relly lost esteem?
Stop the cap.
Hey, y'all heard of ASAP Relly before this case?
Oh, hell no.
Hey, but it's maybe we're not in the community, so it's okay. Let me see if they're back yet. They're not back yet. I'm not seeing that they're back yet, but let me see what y'all are talking about in the comments, man. This is wild. Miss 86 said nope. ASAP who? He can't back out now because if he backs out, then he's a straight up perjury. He either has to say he lied about everything or I don't want to proceed, but either way, he can't back out now. It's too late to apologize. I agree. Really needs to get those fibroids removed off.
Hey, yo.
I got to read these before I read them out loud. Medical attention. He got a Band-Aid. Dang. If Relly were smart, he would drop the civil case and go into hiding. Yeah, he needs to go onto that island they were talking about. Relly is on audio trying to get Wally to do a Rolling Stone article on Rocky. That's true. She said smelly. Oh my gosh. ASAP Relly Tubby tried to pull a pyramid scheme. Yo, that's crazy. Oh man, thank you to Amy for reminding y'all to like the video. Callie's tripping and y'all got the best. Oh my gosh, no bullets were fired. California should have been cut off from the rest of the states years ago. Yeah, they need to go on. California is on fire right now. California is a mess. What are they doing back there? The day is wasting away. Yeah, I know. I can't believe they're not back yet. What I made a mistake and lied, and now I'm in too deep. And I don't want to go through with this lie anymore. It's perjury all day if he tries to back out. I thought I had been shot, but after being reminded of the prop gun, I realized I was wrong. Yeah, I don't think he cares about perjury. He countersued because he wants money and knows Ish is done for him. Dang. You know, the state's complaining about something. They had to finish those interviews, possibly got the prop gun in court. Wow, that's definitely possible. Let me see. Imagine they got the prop gun, though. I mean, that would be something, but it's at this point, even in this criminal case, it's all the reasonable doubt they need. Just mentioning it and then the testimony surrounding it, that's enough reasonable doubt. And then you put into the fact that the police went out there, they investigated, they didn't find any shell casings, and then Relly magically finds
Stop the cap.
the shell casings. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Lewin and Relly thought Rocky was sure to take the plea. They were not ready for this trial. Wow, I can't tell. He better not go nowhere near a large body of water. Oh my gosh. Oh man. The DA already said they called the guy asking where the prop gun was, and they said it's gone. Yeah, it's out of there. I think Ills is coming as a witness. You really think Ills is going to testify? Presenting the gun is a net negative, if at all. Yeah, I don't see the point. That would be crazy. You think Ills is going to testify for real? Let me know in the chat. Who do y'all think the next witness is? I'm going to ask y'all in the poll. Who is the next possible witness? Oh, I thought I was typing it in there. I wasn't typing it. Who is the next possible witness? Is it let me see what y'all think. And you can type it in the chat too. Or is it? Let me know what y'all think. Let's see. If Ills gets on the stand, Relly is finished. I want it to be Relly again. Relly is not a public figure. He is not. I will give him, okay, here we go. I will give him $1 million before taxes to go to hell. Oh my gosh. Then a protective order so he can never come around myself or my family. Then I will copyright both our names. So anytime he uses the name, I get the cash. Okay. I like the way you're thinking. He would not be the best witness. He lost a tooth. Chad is not giving Relly anything. No, that's true. IDK, if it will be Ills, but it would be helpful if it was. I want to hear from ASAP Rocky. But again, I think it's a smart move. I said we're talking about donuts. Yeah, I know that sounds good. Do a live boxing match. That's crazy. If Relly has warrants out of New Jersey, will they be served before the trial is over? Yeah, but it's not for anything crazy. I think it was just like reckless driving or something like that. So it's not anything crazy. I can imagine that he would even do any jail time for that. He's got too many good lawyers around him. They'll take care of that. Oh, you think the next witness is Rihanna? Oh, man. Rihanna, she can testify about what is allowed in their home around their children. Gotta end with the star power. No, that's not gonna happen, but that would be crazy. ASAP Reckless. Please keep my son in your prayers. Oh yeah, of course, Mr. Brown. We definitely will. Yeah, hopefully everything's okay. So Relly shows a pic of his knuckles off his phone. Why did the detective at the police station didn't take a picture? So how do we know the pic is even Relly's hand? That's true. If he gets on the stand, the DA would try to prove his tooth was already loose. He would say, imagine for a second that you actually have your tooth. Just imagine for a second you actually have your tooth. Do you think it's possible, or do you think it's likely that someone could actually punch your tooth out? What? Oh my gosh. He said he still has the marks to this day, supposedly. Poor guy. Aww. That's tough. Is this the day 10 or the day 11 trial? I get lost. This is day 11. I get lost too, so don't feel bad. I'm surprised they are still not back up in here yet. So I don't know what's going on. Let me do this. Imagine if you were a hockey player. What? I don't know how he comes up with these questions. Yeah, he was broke. He didn't have dental insurance. Dang. Amber Rain is in the building, making it rain. Shout out to Amber Rain with the 5 bomb. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, as always. She says, keep it up. You know I will. No days off. We do not stop. Waiting for court to get back in section. Let me double check and make sure I'm not missing it. Yeah, we should be good. Shout out to Amber Rain. Let me see here. The police didn't believe his story. The state would say, so Rihanna, have you seen the prop gun before? Answer, yes. Now let's just assume it was a real gun. Amy says, yes, keep it up. Hey, yo. Amy, man, she's, yes, ma'am. You know I do. Why is it okay for him to use hypothetical questions, but he objects if the defense uses it? You can get your teeth knocked out for sure. Yeah. But imagine for a second you couldn't. Imagine your teeth were made, oh, I don't know, of stainless steel. Imagine your teeth were made of tungsten. Do you think it's likely that your teeth would get knocked out? Imagine if it was an AK-47. Oh, man. Y'all are wild, man. This judge is probably suggesting to those dummies that they haven't proven their case and they may want to argue those charges. I'm saying this feed is getting Amy started it, but she's not wrong. She's not wrong. How's the court going on break before even starting? They better hurry up. The manager from Duncan just walked into the courtroom. Oh, what? All right, let me see. Let me see if I can find some updates. Y'all must be over on X. X is the best place to get updates. What in God's name is the prosecutor's point on cross? He can ask the same question in different ways. It seems like he's getting the same response from the witness. Yeah, let's go back. As if y'all hadn't had enough. I'm going to see if I can find any updates on X, and we'll rewind this a little bit. Let me see. Let's run this back a little bit. I may have to go back to yesterday's. Hold on. Here we go.
At any point in time.
We didn't run, we walked around the corner.
So if you walked around the corner and Relly did not catch up to you, then you agree he was not running after you,
I know y'all
trying
can't
to
see.
catch
Give me
you,
one
correct?
second.
That's not true because when we turned the corner, Relly was right next to it.
Yeah, right.
So now your
See,
testimony is that in fact Relly was chasing you down. Is that correct?
I said Rel was following Ills. He was following.
There we go. Let me run this back real quick, and I'm gonna try and find some
later?
updates for you.
No, because I'm giving a talk. I can't be later.
All right, then tomorrow, I told you, we'll break at 3, we will break at 3.
Because we should be, I didn't,
Oh, all right, we are now back on the record. All jurors and the counsel and parties are present. Defense,
Thank you. The defense calls Lewis Levin.
And then this,
Right across from me, please. So we're on there. So you can just stop around there. Raise your right hand for us. Thank you. You solemnly state that the testimony you may give the cause now pending before this court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
yes.
oh, I just realized I never changed it to day 11.
Feel free to adjust the microphone and state and spell your name for the record.
Louis Levin, Louis Levin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. Levin.
Good afternoon.
Do you go by any other name than Lewis Levin?
Yes, ASAP Lou.
Okay. Mr. Levin, in anticipation of the prosecution's questions later, would you ever commit perjury to defend Rocky?
No.
Would you ever commit perjury for anyone?
No.
Do you understand the significance of the oath you've taken today?
Yes, I do.
All right,
And
let's
do you
see.
take that oath seriously?
Yes,
Is this your first time testifying?
it is.
What do you do for a living?
I'm Rocky's tour manager. I also DJ, and I have a clothing brand.
And what are your responsibilities as Rocky's tour manager include?
Just doing the routing for the shows, make sure that the production staff is hired, the production is right, he gets there on time, just that we have a successful and good show.
Okay. And in addition to touring, are you also involved in Rocky's music videos?
Yes, I am.
And what does that involve?
Sometimes I'm featured in the videos, but most of the time I'm there to like help manage
Yeah, so they might not bring.
directors, producers, assistants, props, light, anything, just kind of a helping hand.
Okay. And how long have you worked with Rocky?
Since 2010.
When did you first meet him?
I met him in 2010 at a concert in Brooklyn.
And can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I was.
Relevant just to
overrule.
You can answer.
Yes,
Yeah,
I was
I'm not
actually a
saying
fan of the
anything
crowd, and
solid yet.
I was a fan for him for a while, and I was in the crowd. He picked me out of the crowd and said, like, "You're hyped. I like your energy. Come up on stage." Went up on stage, and then after that, went backstage and met him, 12E, Bari, Ills, just all the ASAP guys.
And did you begin working with Rocky at that time?
Not right away. It was a couple months after. It was either later in 2010 or early 2011.
And what was your first position with Rocky?
I was his assistant first.
And what did that involve?
That's a dope story, by the way. He just ASAP Rocky pulled him out of the crowd and was like, "Hey, man, you seem like a cool dude," and hired him on the spot. That's a pretty cool story.
Just like assistant tasks, make sure he's up on time, he makes his meetings, phone calls, he eats, his bags are packed, he's prepared for the day.
Okay. And was there a time where you switched positions? Where you stopped doing that?
Yeah, I did that for about 3-4 years, and then I started being his tour DJ, and like when he did after parties or clubs, his DJ for that as well.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
And when
Yeah,
did
we're
you
just
start
buying some
presenting
time
as a
until
tour?
court comes back.
I would say 2017, 2018, somewhere around there.
Okay. Now, in addition to the work you do for Rocky, have you held any other jobs?
Well, yeah, I DJ and I have a clothing brand. I DJ on my own. Yeah.
And how large are the venues that you DJ for?
It varies. I've done like festivals with a few thousand people. I've done smaller private events, like club events. It varies, but I've done international, domestic. I've traveled for a lot.
Okay. And you mentioned that you met ASAP 12. Is that right?
Yeah, the first show I met Rocky.
And what's your relationship been like with 12?
It's been good. I would consider him a close friend.
And did you ever meet someone known as ASAP Rocky?
Yes.
And what's your relationship been like with him?
Over the years, it's always kind of been up and down. It would be times where like we were good, and then like a week later, he would text me or call me and say, "Fuck you, you're a bitch, you're a faggot." Oh, sorry.
It's also hearsay.
Overruled. You can answer.
He would text me and just be aggressive, like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna fuck you up when I see you, you're a bitch, you're a faggot." But then a week later say, "Hey, I miss you, we should hang out." Like, it's been like that ever since I've known him, really.
What's your understanding as to why it's been like that?
Your Honor, that's going to call for speculation. It's also relevant in perspective too.
What's your understanding as to why it's been that way?
What's your understanding, what?
What's your understanding as to why it's been that way?
The objection sustained.
Okay. Ms. Levin, do you have any experience with firearms?
Yes, I do.
And are you licensed to possess firearms?
Yes, I am.
When did you get licensed?
In 2020.
And why?
It was COVID times, and it was pretty crazy. There was a lot of like home invasions. There's a lot of people getting robbed. There's a lot of violence going on, and I just felt the need to have something in my house to protect myself.
Okay. And what firearms, if any, do you own?
I own a Smith & Wesson M&P 9. I own a Glock 42. I own a 12-gauge shotgun and an AR-15. Right.
What caliber is the Glock 42?
It's .380.
Now, what do you do with those firearms?
Take them to the shooting range, keep them in my house. So, yeah.
Okay. And do you consider yourself knowledgeable about guns?
Yeah, I would say so.
All right. Are you personally aware whether or not Rocky's been the victim of prior violence?
Yes, I am.
And can you tell us about that knowledge?
I know he was jumped in a club in 2018. His face was cut.
Motion to strike the answer.
Hold on.
Sorry.
He can testify to what he has observed relating to that. If anything has been told to him, that would be an admissible hearsay.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, with that instruction, are you personally aware of anything that you observed in terms of past violence against Rocky?
Yeah, that I personally observed. He had home invasions and a stalker.
And can you tell us about the stalker?
The stalker has actually gotten into his home before. I saw the security footage, and I've actually encountered her in person before, like just following me around.
Okay. And when's the last time there was an incident with the stalker?
It was Memorial Day 21.
Around May of 2021?
I would say yes.
Now, do you know of any security measures that Rocky took in response to these incidents?
Yes, he started getting a security guard to sit outside his house for 24 hours, and he started carrying a prop gun.
Yeah, I'm going to object. Last foundation.
How do you know that? What do you know about the security company and the prop gun?
I visibly saw them, both the prop gun and the security company. And
Objection withdrawn.
The objection's over. All right, the objection's over. Ask another question.
Thank you. So what's your understanding of what a prop gun is?
It's a prop gun is something that looks like a real gun. It doesn't fire a projectile. It makes the same noise. It looks like it. It's just, like I said, it doesn't actually shoot anything out of it.
I just realized my mic wasn't on. So we are not back in court yet. Still waiting for any updates. So we might just go back through and review this testimony. But the only thing I'm seeing is there may be, and this was reported by, where'd they go? Let me see if I can find it. So this was reported by Linda Kenny Baden. I'm sure I probably butchered her name. He said, so apparently a trade-off between bringing in another witness versus getting this case to a jury in a week or this week. So let me see what else they're saying. Now, why y'all got music playing? We do not want to hear that music. So that's the only thing I can see right now is they're trying to go back and forth between bringing in the next witness or not. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, let's do a little bit of a rewind. Unless y'all let me know what you want to do. Do you want to finish going through this this lawsuit? Or do you want to do a rewind of this? Let me know and I'll keep this playing.
Were you personally involved in Rocky's decision to carry the property?
And thank you, Decline, for the super chat too. I appreciate it.
Well, because of the prior violence, it's just a non-lethal form of self-defense.
Okay. Now, you said you worked with Rocky on music videos. Did any of them involve prop guns?
Yes.
Which was the most recent one?
DMV.
And where was that video made?
It was made in New York.
Who were the main characters in that video?
Rocky.
Do you know where Rocky got the prop gun that he carried from?
Yes, he got it from that video shoot.
And how do you know that?
I was on set and I handled it there.
Have you seen him take it?
I did see him take it, yes.
When was the DMV music video recorded?
July 2021.
So about a month or two after that May 2021 incident with the stalker?
Correct, yes.
Now, after the DMV video, how do you know that Rocky carried that prop gun?
I personally saw him and I handled it.
Did you see Rocky with it on November 6th, 2021?
I did, yes.
Where were you when you saw it?
We were at in Long Beach at ComplexCon. We had rehearsals that day for the show, which was the next day, the 7th. During rehearsals, he does like a dress rehearsal where he gets on stage and runs around and rehearses his performance. While he was running around, he handed me the prop gun to hold, so it was in safety.
And based on what you've seen and heard, did Rocky hide from his friends the fact that he carried that prop gun?
Not to his close friends, no.
And how do you know that?
It was known by everyone. I mean, it was just something that everyone knew. Like his close friend circle, everybody knew that he carried a prop gun.
Have you ever seen Rocky carry a real firearm in public?
Not in public, no.
Now, the prop gun that you've been talking about, what type is it, or was it?
It was a Glock 26.
And did you ever do anything to that prop gun to modify it?
You want to see Raleigh?
I added this thing on the side of it called the clip draw, and what that is essentially it lets you flush the slide, and it allows you to put it in your waistband more securely, so if you have to carry it out. And then I also added a clear extended magazine on it.
And why did you put the clear extended magazine on it?
Well, the Glock 26 is a small, like subcompact gun. The whole point of him carrying this was to make it look intimidating.
I think going back to Raleigh's testimony would be good. Let me see if I can find it.
So having the clear magazine and extended magazine made it look a little bit more intimidating.
Okay. To your knowledge, did there come a point where Rocky stopped carrying that prop gun?
Yes. It was after November 6th.
Objection Foundation, in terms of how he knows this, can we get the foundation?
How do you know?
Oh, because I was part of the decision. He gave it to me. He gave it to me after.
And why was that decision made?
That's going to call for speculation unless there's first-hand knowledge. Overruled.
The decision was made because, like I said, he carried it to deter violence, and then on November 6th, after the incident, it obviously didn't work, and he decided to just get actual armed security. He didn't want to carry it anymore.
Do you know what happened to that prop gun?
Yes, I brought it back to New York.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so after he gave it back to me, January, I believe, of next year, 2022, I flew back to New York with it, and I gave it to the co-director that we got it from.
Let me see if I can find it.
When you said you gave it to him in New York, how did you get to New York with the prop gun?
Oh, we took a private jet.
Now, do you know if Rocky was licensed to possess firearms in 2021?
That's going to again call for hearsay.
That is definitely hearsay.
Do you know if Rocky owned firearms in 2021?
And that's also a last foundation way to ask. Ask him what he knows, what he's seen.
You can answer.
Wow, so you
Yes,
really
he
think
did.
his pants were falling down and he tried to put it back in his
It was a
pocket?
Desert Eagle,
Wow.
44 Magnum, and
Interesting.
an AR-10 rifle.
And are they designed to accommodate 9mm caliber ammunition?
No, they're not.
Have you ever been to Rocky Summit?
Yes,
How often?
many times.
And have you ever seen firearms ammunition there?
Yes.
Did you ever plan on going to a shooting range with Rocky?
Yeah, we did. It was in the summertime of 21, I would say July, August, somewhere around there.
And what preparations did you make in order to go?
So I came to his place first with my both of my pistols, my handguns, and while we were there, I was oiling the guns up and loading the magazines, and also calling around the shooting ranges to try to secure like a private area, a private room.
And why did you do that? Why were you looking for a private room?
Well, because of who he is, he's a celebrity, and you know we just didn't want to cause a commotion going there. And usually when we go out places, we do try to get a private room. Like,
In this instance, did you actually end up going to the shooting range?
no, we couldn't secure anything. Everything was booked out, or just nothing was available that day.
Okay. So what did you do instead?
Just hung out at this place. We had a couple drinks, talked, bullshit.
Okay. Did you go home that night?
I did.
And did you bring your weapons and ammunition back with you?
I did not.
Why not?
Because I had a couple drinks. I didn't think it'd be wise to travel with my firearms.
Okay. Did you go back to Rocky's house to retrieve your belongings at some point?
Yeah, the next day I did.
And at that time, did you take everything with you?
I took everything except for one magazine. It was a Glock 43 magazine.
Okay. Now, do you own a Glock 43?
I did not.
All right. So why did you have a Glock 43 magazine?
So when I purchased my Glock 42, and I was at the gun shop buying accessories for it, more magazines, I had
I'm gonna
mistakenly
find the
grabbed Glock
Rocky
43
testimony
magazine. When
for
you're in
you,
the store,
or a Raleigh testimony
it's-
for you.
Everything is like right next to each other. So it's the Glock section. It's all of them listed, the 17, 19, it's all the accessories. They were right next to each other, and I grabbed it mistakenly. And I didn't realize until that day that I had mistakenly grabbed it.
Let me
And-
find
I want to show you
Raleigh.
what's in evidence is Exhibit 40. Give us Exhibit 40. 40B. 40B. Direct your attention to this right here.
Yes.
For the record, he's pointed to what appears to be a handgun magazine in the middle of the
They are
photo,
taking a long
other
time, yeah.
magazines
I agree.
And rounds in the video. Is that correct, Your Honor?
That's right. Okay, it's 11. I just pointed to. What is that?
That's my Glock 43 magazine.
So we're
Was this
going
magazine
back
ever used?
today.
No.
Can you tell that from looking at the picture?
Personally, I guess, because I mean, I own firearms and I own other magazines. Usually it has wear marks on the side of it from going in and out of the pistol or firearm. So that one has nothing on it. It's clearly brand new. It's just loaded.
All right, I want to show you what's in evidence of People's Exhibit 42.
You don't have to take them all out. We'll stipulate some numbers we like.
See this. Can you zoom in on it? All the way. Okay. Why don't we do this? We have So I want you to take a look at this. Cartridge. Tell me if you recognize that.
Yes.
What is it?
It's a 6-hour 9mm cartridge. It's mine.
that the ammunition that you left at Rocky's house?
Correct, yes.
The one that, excuse me, ammunition that was contained in that magazine that we just saw?
That's correct.
I think it was day
By the way,
3.
going back to the magazine, when you realized it was the wrong one, when you realized it was the wrong one, why didn't you return it?
It's a $20 magazine. It would have cost more in gas to go there back and forth in my time.
Okay. All right, I want to show you what's in evidence is Defense Exhibit CC. Okay. Ms. Levin, do you see the two shell casings on the right?
Yes.
Can you see the imprint on the bottom of those shell casings? Can you make it out?
Yes.
And what do they say? What's the imprint?
FC 9mm Luger.
Okay. Can you tell us what brand these casings are?
That's Federal.
Okay. And the cartridges on the left, are those the cartridges that you just saw?
Yeah, the one you just handed me.
Okay. That's the 9mm ammunition that you left in Rocky's house?
Correct.
Okay. And what brand is that?
SIG, 6 hour.
All right. So these.
All right, here we go. Think I got it.
Within about a minute, you were able to locate those shell casings. Is that right?
No.
No?
Wait, can you say that again, please?
Sure. Remember when you came back to the scene on November 6, 2021?
Yeah.
Like an hour later, whatever that time was, right?
You gotta explain talking too fast. You gotta explain what you mean. Like, you're talking about the actual shooting when I went back?
Did you go back to the scene after the incident on November?
I sure did.
Oh, you sure did. Okay. And within a minute of returning to this, how many times did you go back to the scene?
Once.
Okay. Within a minute of returning to the scene, you located the shell casings, correct?
No, not within a minute. I got to take a little while to look for it.
So you testified yesterday within a minute or two, correct?
I did not test it. Well, I said within a minute or two, but it took some time. It's not plural, but you know what I'm saying?
No, you said within a minute or two. You heard me a minute or two?
I mean, if
He
you-
said 2 to 3 minutes.
2 to 3 minutes. Was that right, 2 to 3 minutes?
2 to 3 minutes.
That was the testimony yesterday.
Thank you, Ron. 2 to 3 minutes, right?
I mean, it happened 3 years ago. You asked me 3 years later.
No, they asked you that yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, what you're asking now, everything is videotaped and timestamped, so.
Well, there was a videotape you saw yesterday, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Anyway, you said yesterday you found those shell casings within 2 to 3 minutes of returning to the scene. Did you have a flashlight on you when you returned?
No.
No, no flashlight.
Yeah, this
I
is the
used the
first time
flashlight
on
on
day
my
4.
phone.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. And you know that there were 7
That
cops
would be
there
crazy.
before you were there, correct?
Well, how would I know that?
No one told you that?
No, nobody told me that.
Okay. Now, just to clear up one thing, you were asked by the judge, it was 2 days ago, if you would meet with the defense attorneys to have an interview, correct? And you said no.
Yeah.
Okay. And you understand that's different. Yes, you and I had a meeting, so to speak, at the preliminary hearing when you testified like this, right?
Correct.
That was in 2023.
I believe so.
Yeah. There was a judge and prosecutors and it was like this, right?
Yes.
Okay. But you were asked to meet with us to do an interview, sitting down with just the defense attorneys and you said, correct? Which is right.
Yeah.
Okay. You're here with your lawyers today, right?
Yes.
The lawyers for your civil case.
Yes.
And you've been here with them every single day, correct?
Correct.
You've met many times with law enforcement over the last several years?
I want to say I met with them many times. They called me, probably met when, I don't remember, it's been 3 years.
Well, when's the last time you met with the prosecutors here?
When I flew in,
What was that?
like 2 3 years ago.
Okay. So before your testimony, obviously.
Yeah.
And what about your private attorneys? You met with them to prepare for your testimony?
I didn't need to prepare.
You didn't need to prepare?
No.
So you didn't meet your private attorneys at all to discuss your testimony?
I don't need to.
I understand you don't need. My question was different.
Cause for yes, sir.
Oh, wait, say the question again, please.
You did not meet with your private attorneys who flew here with you in preparation for your testimony?
No, they just here to support me. But I don't need the prep. I don't need the prep.
It's not responsive. Everything you have to know is true.
Okay.
And Joe was letting them talk
Now,
too.
yesterday, you testified that before the shooting, you had nothing but love for Rocky, right?
Correct.
And you said that if you said the word fuck to Rocky, it was with love, right?
I don't know what you mean by that. You gotta explain again.
Oh, I don't. I'll tell you your testimony. Go ahead. Take a look at the screen.
Oh, all right. I think they're back. Hold on. I think we back. Here we go. And I wonder if they could possibly be talking about Relly's testimony.
Is that the witness that was going to be coming in this afternoon is not going to be coming in.
Oh,
because
no more
both
witnesses.
sides have come to an agreement on what the witness would say. It's another stipulation. So who's going to?
I'll read it here.
All right. So listen to what he's going to say. This has been agreed to, stipulated. Go ahead.
The people in the defense stipulate that the prop gun testified about in this case would have ejected 2 fired cartridge cases as it was fired. The fired cartridge cases previously marked as People's Exhibit 32 were not fired from the prop gun. So
So the shell casings that Relly found were not fired from the prop gun.
Exhibit 32 were not fired from the prop gun. So stipulated this.
All right. The court accepts this. Thank you. All right. I'm going to read the jury instructions to you now. And if I just read them, I think it's not going to make sense because you're going to get self-defense instructions. And you might think, well, why are we getting self-defense instructions? Here's why. So, and that will, I think, make it a little easier for you to grasp.
What just happened? Wow. What just happened? This is why you don't pick up shell casings and take them to the police. Be like, hey, I found them. What? Yeah, I don't know why we don't get to hear the jury instructions either. Hold on. Let me run this back and make sure I heard this right. Relly is done. I gotta hear this again.
The witness that was going to be coming in this afternoon is not going to be coming in because both sides have come to an agreement on what the witness would say. It's another stipulation. So who's going to?
I'll read it here.
All right. So listen to what he's going to say. This has been agreed to, stipulated. Go ahead.
The people in the defense stipulate that the prop gun testified about in this case would have ejected 2 fired cartridge cases as it was fired. The fired cartridge cases previously marked as People's Exhibit 32 were not fired from the prop gun.
Oh my God. I can't believe this is real.
All right, I'm going to read the jury
Wow.
instructions to you now. And if I just read them, I think
I don't know why we don't get
it's
to
not gonna
hear
make
the
sense,
jury
because
instructions
you're going to
though.
get self-defense instructions, and you might think, well, why are we getting self-defense instructions? Here's why. So, and that will, I think, make it a little easier for you to grasp.
Wow. Insane. Let me see if they're back. This is crazy. So I thought we were going to get to hear the jury instructions, but apparently not. So they stipulated that with the prop gun being fired, that it would have ejected 2 shell casings, and the shell casings that were entered in the state's Exhibit X were not fired from the prop gun. So that could mean a couple things. That could mean either one, the state is doubling down on the fact that they were fired from a gun that doesn't exist or exists somewhere in the universe that we don't know about, or they could be conceding that Relly lied, which I think is more so what they're saying. They're saying that the shell casings were not fired from a prop gun. They would have had to been fired from a real gun. This is shout out to Gina in here with the 5 bomb. Let's wonder if Relly is on that island now. Phew, child. That's crazy. Mm, 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 mm. Mm-mm. That is. I'm trying to see what's going on here. This is wild. Kathy, shout out to Kathy, posted she never saw cameras demand to be turned off in her career. Right Street says, watch, I bet they ran ballistics and the casings came from a gun at the gun range. Oh, maybe. Maybe. That's what I think, saying it was fired by a real gun. But whose gun? What? That's the thing. Who fired the gun that those were fired from when we have no gun? That's what I was thinking. You can tell the colors of the shell casing. Yeah, shout out to Kathy Rustin over at Law and Crime. She said, Judge Arnold ordered our cameras off while he reads the instructions to the jury. She says, I have never in my career seen this happen. Wonder why that is. Wow. This has been epic. That's why it's self-defense. They don't match the gun at his house either. Well, there wasn't a 9mm. There wasn't a 9mm gun at his house. It was just a magazine with 9mm rounds in it. Firearm science is junky science anyway. It's not reliable. They can, however, tell if it was fired from a prop gun or not. I don't know what's going on. Too much doubt. I don't know if he will get perjury, but he should get tampering. All right, what is it? Impeding an investigation, maybe? I don't know what that. Let me look that up. I'm going to find out. Let me see. Y'all give me 1 second. I'm going to try and look this up. Let me see. So we've got tampering with evidence, it looks like, obstruction of justice, false statements to law enforcement, perjury as well. They could potentially face criminal liability for tampering with evidence or obstruction of justice. I think for that to happen, though, we would have to have the prop gun, right? So I don't know that that would ever happen. And I'll read the rest of this for y'all in a second. If someone knowingly misrepresents evidence such as the shell casings, obviously, they could potentially face criminal liability for tampering with evidence or obstruction of justice, depending on the jurisdiction. Tampering with evidence. Most states, including Georgia, have laws against knowingly altering, concealing, falsifying, or misrepresenting evidence in an official investigation or legal proceeding. If someone falsely claims certain shell casings were from a shooting where they were not, it could be considered tampering because it misleads the investigation. Yeah, there's no way to prove that unless they provide the prop gun. Wouldn't that? Here's a question I have. So what if there's a not guilty verdict and this trial is over? Could the defense now bring forward this prop gun, and could the state, I guess, press charges against Relly for tampering with evidence? Man, I need some of our lawyers in here. We need Kel Bell or Joshua Van Lawn or Javier Bailey in here. Because clearly there's no way he could be charged with evidence tampering because the defense isn't providing the prop gun. So that's out. Obstruction of justice. If a false claim hinders law enforcement's ability to investigate a crime properly, it would be charged as obstruction of justice. It could apply if the false statement led officers to focus on the wrong evidence, misidentify a suspect, or misinterpret the crime scene. False statements to law enforcement. If a person knowingly provides incorrect information to the police, they could be charged with making false statements, which is a crime. Perjury, we know what that is. If a person made the statement under oath, such as in court or a sworn affidavit, they could be charged with perjury. crazy. Were the casings that had strike patterns because anyone could just buy them empty shells? Well, he was at the gun range as well. So there's that. What do you mean they know the bullet didn't come from a prop gun? I don't know who you're talking to. Maybe Relly took his own casings to the scene, or what they thought, or what he thought came from a gun Rocky owned. Yeah, he was at the gun range, so it's likely, or it's possible, I should say. They're doing jury instructions now. Judge ordered cameras off. If they think the gun was fake, then not guilty. If they think it was real, they can consider self-defense. That makes sense. Thank you, Kara. Now, Relly said there was a shooting and provided evidence, so he tampered with evidence when he brought the shells to the cops. No, not necessarily, because it says if you alter, conceal, falsify, or misrepresent evidence. So basically anybody can be a detective. That comes from someone in the courtroom. Okay, thank you for that, Kara. I appreciate it. He's providing false information, false statements to a Leo, which is a misdemeanor. I know because it happened to me, because I refused to snitch and made up a story and the cops found out I was lying. But we still don't know that if Relly's lying or not. That's the thing. I believe we would have to have the prop gun to prove that. Some fake guns at the hole of the nozzle has a pin in the front that showed nothing could come out. Perjury is rare and they won't get him for that, but we will see. Carrying cells with you just sounds crazy to me. Yeah, it sounds crazy to me too. How can they charge him with tampering with evidence if they allowed those casings to be used as evidence in the first place, knowing there was no proof that it came from Rocky's gun actually fired? I think that goes to the question of how can they be used as evidence in the first place? How is it possible for someone just to pick up something off the street and say, hey, these came from the gun that was shot at me? What? That's still wild to me. If Rocky is found not guilty, just because he's found not guilty doesn't necessarily mean that it was a fact. Exactly. Yep. A prop gun. That it was in fact a prop gun, and that really planted the evidence, and that really planted the evidence. Yeah. Really could simply be charged with falsification of evidence, especially in California. It's a felony to use planted evidence to secure a conviction. Yeah, but like I was saying earlier, you would have to have the prop gun. And I don't think that's going to show up anytime soon. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of lesser people have gone to prison under the same circumstances. That's a fact. It's wild 7 cops didn't find the casings, but Relly found them right away. Are they saying that Rocky had a real gun then? Yeah, I think they've been saying that this entire time. No, they haven't changed from that. They're saying he had a real gun. They just don't know where it is, or it disappeared. I better put Relly on. I might just, oh man, jeez. If Relly was there on the scene, he could have removed the fake shell casings and planted real shell casings from the gun range. Relly was always lying. We knew it. I just think that's an interesting stipulation. He was never seen on video or this girlfriend. Well, that's not necessarily true, because the officer said he didn't see anything of relevance. I don't think he said he didn't see Relly. That's a little bit of a gray area there. But they have to prove that he planted the shells, and those shells weren't real from the incident. Just because I'm not guilty is found in a case doesn't mean innocence necessarily. People are saying Dunkin' Donuts was not open at the time Relly said he got there. Man, I'll look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now. And shout out to the Unruly Gaming channel with the 2 bombs says, what do y'all think the verdict will be? Great question. Thank you for the super chat as well. I think it's going to be not guilty. Way too much reasonable doubt. So I say not guilty. Yes. And all this is saying is that it could have been a prop gun. It could have been a real gun. Jury, you decide. Do you think it was a real gun or a prop gun? Oh, hung jury. Aye. Penal Code 132. Offering false evidence. This law makes it a felony to knowingly present false written evidence in any legal proceeding. Penal Code 134. Preparing false evidence. This law makes it a felony to prepare any false evidence with the intent to use it fraudulently in a legal case. Both are felonies and carry the penalty of up to 3 years in prison, 16 months to 3 years under California law, fines, and other legal consequences. Yeah, but again, you would have to have the prop gun. Even if you have the prop gun, it doesn't necessarily prove that those casings didn't come from whatever gun was used at the scene. Doesn't necessarily prove that the prop gun was used at the scene. So is that the reason that they didn't bring in the prop gun, because it doesn't prove or disprove anything? They don't have enough proof either way to know if it was a prop. There's more people saying it's a prop gun than that one person, Relly, who is making claims for money. True. They provide the video. That is wild. No chain of custody. Just handing somebody some evidence, being like, here, you guys take this, solve the case, is insane. Y'all thought the next witness was going to be Ills, but there is going to be no next witness. So they're still on a break while they give the jury instructions. And I guess we'll find out about closing since there's no more witnesses. I think that's going to be it, y'all. We're going to get up out of here. I don't know if anything shocking is going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see. If it does, we'll make sure we cover it tomorrow during the Music Morning Show tomorrow. So if y'all haven't yet, make sure you like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live. Thank you to everybody who supported and sent in the super chats and liked the video as well. I appreciate y'all. We will be back tomorrow. Y'all know we have a show. We still got a lot to get to. It's going to be interesting. Closing is on Thursday. All right, so we'll get to closing on Thursday. Y'all have a great rest of your afternoon. You know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace.